Wait, is it a music box? Like a very specific music box for the disc?
So this is the article in question, is it? The small box deposited with the pawnbroker by Mr. McGilda 2 months ago.
And on the night of Mr. Windibank's murder, the only item on the shelves that was touched by whoever broke in.
Quick, let's open it and see what's inside.
I knew it! It's a music box!
Good gracious, this is an ordinary box, it seems.
Wow, although in truth I had an inkling that might be the case. It would appear that the box houses a miniature music box movement.
Then, is it too much to expect?
Put the disc in! Put the disc in! I think it would be reasonable to assume that it is a device for the playback of this disc, my lord. Put it in! Put it in! Put it in! Put it in the box!
So here we have the means to play back Mr. McGillicud's disc, deposited at Windibank's at much the same time.
Not strictly correct, my lord. It was not McGillicud's disc. It was the disc of his victim in the omnibus.
But why, for heaven's sake? Are we to understand that the big breaker was trying to sell this music box disc to McGillicud?
I mean, if Mercer's right, the dude had lost his job and was very, very poor.
I have a question!
I believe the answer will become clear if we listen to the music on the disc.
Finally!
Yes, very well. Let the court now listen to this curious disc at last.
Hold it!
Huh?
What? Wait, my lord!
Good grief, what's the meaning of this, Inspector?
The music box and disc are, well, they're unrelated to the case. Why are you so protective of them? No need to spoil the somber atmosphere in the courtroom with some silly bit of music.
Objection!
It's evidence. This disc may very well have motivated the culprit in this case to commit murder. Clearly there's every chance it's fundamentally important to understand what happened. The prosecution has no objection.
But no! That piece of evidence is police property!
It's my property now, bitch! Clearly Scotland Yard has some invested interest here. But it is policy of this prosecutor to leave no avenues unexplored. And you, Inspector, have no jurisdiction here to prevent that from happening.
Gone!
No further delays, please.
Play the disc!
Shh. Remove the paper? Shouldn't we remove the paper bit? Oh my god, I was right! It is Morse code! It has to be!
What on earth? That's certainly not what I would call music.
No. It's just the same note playing over and over again in an irregular sequence. It's Morse code! It's Morse code! You okay there, buddy?
Mr. Graydon?
This really is priceless. After all that, the music box is broken! Broken? It can't be, can it? Well, obviously. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised. If the officer sent to fetch it didn't drop it on the way back to the court... Bailiff?
Well, with much regret, I feel the court must accept that this music box offers little in the way of clues.
Give it to the Morse code lady!
Are you ready to move on, counsel?
Come on! Yes, alright. It does sound as though it's completely broken, but is it? Could this music emanating from the music box possibly be a new clue? It is! It's Morse code! I believe that it could be relevant, my lord.
Good lord, but how can it be? It's an abomination, counsel, mere noise. I fail to see how it can have any meaning whatsoever.
Your voice is mere noise, but it has a lot of meaning. It does sound strange, I agree, but there's one thing that's bothering me. While Graydon stands there chortling victoriously and wiggling. The inspector beside him has a rather telling expression on his face. Yeah, also he's very protective, like, dear God, don't play it! It's as if Gregson recognized the sound, as if he's familiar with it. And that's making him appear extremely on edge. If that's the stance of the defense, my... Neon lights, friend, answer me this.
Eh!
Are we just tossing the music box across the courtroom? Like, you play it, you play it! Just what relevance do you propose this woeful chiming has on this case? Morse code! Just because this is a music box, it doesn't necessarily mean the sounds we're hearing are music. Look at that. The smile vanished from Graydon's lips as soon as I said it. Eat shit, Egg! I'm on the right lines here. I gotta be. Making deductions based on how people react to what you say. You acted just like Arlie, Runo.
Objection!
The sounds we're hearing aren't necessarily music. Well, now that you've told us what they are not. I'm sure the court would like to hear what they are. Do enlighten us, my... nylon fabric friend. Well, surely you have an idea in mind, but if not, it will be the death of your ill-informed argument. Why are you tagging along? The music box is clearly broken. Refusing to accept that fact is pure foolishness. They got me. You don't know what the answer is, but I do. Runo. I've just examined the music box very thoroughly. And I'm fairly certain that it's not broken at all. Really? Really, the way it's been made, it can only produce a single note anyway. Thank you, Iris. Alright, well, if the music box isn't broken, it must mean the sounds it's producing have some significance that isn't musical. Morse code! Please get it! Could it be? Is that what these sounds are? Something's just struck me, Runo. I feel like recently, in the past few hours even, I've heard another sound very much like the one this music box makes. It's a familiar sound. Actually, Iris, I was just thinking exactly the same thing.
I'm going to have to press the French for an answer. If your assertion is that the sound produced by this music box is not in fact music, then what the devil is it?
All the evidence we've seen so far, all the testimony we've heard, it's all pointing to one single answer now.
The prosecution...
The prosecution demands that my learned Nickelback friend present proof now. Tangible proof of this latest wild speculation. Alright then. This could be the best chance I'm gonna get to fight back in this trial. If I'm right, it's gonna join all the dots together. Dots like a Morse code. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. The evidence that explains the true nature of the sounds in this music box is... I was hoping I could just point to, like, juror number 5, I think? Like, juror number 5, I need your thing! Wait. Did they mention Morse code? Okay. I feel like that's the closest thing I have to presenting some sort of Morse code device.
Today's paper, Council. The headline is Pawnbroker Perishes in Pick-Purse Plunder. Hardly support of your cause.
Flip it over. No, my lord. I was hoping you'd look a little further down the page.
Further down?
Yes, the opposite of up.
Ministry moles. Classified secrets may have been leaked overseas for Ministry of Justice. Yes, this is a very serious matter, being investigated at the highest level, I understand.
I have heard that international transmissions along supposedly secure lines are somehow being intercepted and leaked to various other countries. And presumably, those transmissions are in the form of wired telegrams. The kind that go beep, 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 beep. Of course. Juror number 5, your input, please. Stop. Oh! Me, sir? Whatever is the matter? You told the court before that you worked at the same communication station as Mr. Graydon, did you not? I'm starting to think... Okay, I'm just not realizing, it's like every juror, they were brought, like, they're all here for specific purposes, like, juror number 5 for the Morse code, 4 for the whole explaining the bullet situation, 6 for, I guess, a callback to the second case and bullet discussion, 3 for the stereoscope stuff, and 2 and 1 I feel like are maybe just callbacks to past cases and maybe to just provide some levity, with one being a maid and the other having a maid fetish. Yes, that's correct. And the particular station where you work deals with government communications and newspaper reports? Oh yes, we're not your run-of-the-mill communication station at all. Our work is extremely important. Then tell me, is this not a very familiar sound? Hmm? You don't mean to say, is it? That's right. It bears more than a passing resemblance to the sound made by your telegraph machine as you tap it. I believe it's called Morse code? But I don't believe it! Someone made Morse code into music! Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to leaking telegrams from government departments, there could be nobody more perfectly placed than a highly skilled communications officer. Are you suggesting the music box disc contains stolen government secrets in Morse code?
Order, please, everyone, order!
But this is high treason, Council, deserving of capital punishment.
Too much new vocabulary. What is this treason? What is capital punishment? The sort of words I'd half expected.
For our sovereign government's confidential information, hostile nation would surely pay almost any price.
Yes, and on that night 2 months ago, that was the very negotiation that was taking place inside the omnibus. Is that what was going on between Egg and Gregson? Like, I know what's on that like, you know as well as I do what's on that disc. Here's pay me this much money and I won't send that disc elsewhere or something. But in the end, McGill did perish, and the all-important disc lay unacclaimed in the pawnbrokery.
My word!
In which case... Also, don't music discs take a long time to make? I imagine there's some metallic welding and forging to be done, so... Those secrets would be, like, old by now. Whoever stole the info in the first place must surely have been beside himself with worry. Because if the disc were to be discovered before it found its way out of the country...
It would reveal an act of high treason punishable by death.
So the culprit had no choice but to retrieve it. And in order to do that, he would have to gain entry to the pawnbrokery illegally in the middle of the night. Because the article left behind by McGilded would incriminate him too much if it got in the wrong hands. Blam! Isn't that right, Mr. Graydon? You think I've been stealing government secrets? Preposterous! Absolutely preposterous! I mean, if you're being paid for it, I can see why, like, you would be doing it. Like, I live a extremely money-spending, lavish lifestyle. What do you mean my job does not cover that much? Oh, you want government secrets for millions? Here you go. Now I can buy a yacht or something like that.
So in response to the defense's accusations, you claim complete innocence, do you?
Well, of course I do. I've had to stand here in silence while that pretentious foreign lawyer's been prattling away.
Objection!
Then by all means, counter the charges, sir. The prosecution demands the witness testifies. In response to the accusations brought by the defense. Are you on my side this time? Delighted, I'm sure.
The witness is reminded that the crime under scrutiny in the trial of this murder... In this trial is the murder of the pawnbroker, Mr. Winterbank. That being a most
flagitious? I don't know how to pronounce that.
for which the law of this land sanctions a capital punishment. But the heinous crime of high treason is no less a serious crime. I urge you to bear that in mind as you testify, Mr. Graydon.
Are you ready to get your eggs poached?
So then, let us proceed.
Who?
What? Go, let's have a rabbit and pork here, Gov. We got something to say.
I beg your pardon. Who do you think you are?
Skulkin' Bros.
Name's Nash Skulkin. Occupation is professional buddy.
We already know this, though.
Name's Rinko Skulkin, but we ain't buddies enough to steal our motherland.
Oh, is that why they're talking? They don't want to be like they were already involved with Egg. So if he's being charged of treason, it's like
We want none of that.
we want involved.
We're what they call the Flurry Skulkin Brothers.
Bad timing, fellas. Very bad timing. Fess up. A mere communications officer couldn't possibly steal confidential government information. I mean, it could be. I mean, it's possible you're in the front lines when it comes to communications. Besides, the sounds produced by that music box aren't even Morse code. It was some low-class brickmakers negotiating when McGill did anyway, was it not? I have no relation to them, man.
Look, all we done is break into the coffee the other night, like what you told us to do.
Oh.
If we known there was dodgy government secrets involved, we wouldn't have touched it.
Thank you.
Mr. and Mr. Skulkin?
One Mr. L. Gov. What's up?
Do I take it that you now admit to the crime? That on the night in question you did indeed gain entry to the premises illegally? And moreover, you did so as a party of 3 in collaboration with Mr. Graydon here?
Yeah. We did, Gov, we did!
He's about to fall off the box.
Quieten down, please. What say you to that, Mr. Graydon?
I have no idea what these two ruffians are referring to.
You little rot, getting us mixed up in all this monkey business. You never said nothing about no government secrets. It was supposed to be a straight up job. And what about the geezer whose shop it was, eh? Poor old bloke didn't have to die, did he?
Nice to know who your friends are. Whatever these men say, I deny the accusations.
Indeed. Well, I certainly wasn't expecting this little music box to become so significant in the proceedings. However, as it has, I will admit it to the court record as evidence.
Thank you.
Before that, really quick. I'm not pressing, or I'm not presenting. Okay, I thought there would be a secret on the bottom. Oh, what is it right now? I've just noticed something about this music box. Looks like the bottom of it opens up as well. Really?
You're right. Well, come on then. What are you waiting for? Let's open it.
Alright then, here goes.
Look at that, there's another movement on the underside.
So it's 2 music boxes in one. So, does that mean you can set another disc to play back on this side?
Yes, I think so. It looks like the 2 movements are linked together.
So you play 2 discs at once, or it's like you play it on one side and you play it on the other side? They're linked?
So if you add 2 discs, they will both play back at the same time.
Nifty.
I thought there'd be a second movement on the other side of the box. This looks like the other one. Comb's teeth are all the same length.
Hold on, I got... So this movement also only produces a single tone, like the other one.
Yeah, it must do. Except that the length of the teeth on the 2 combs isn't the same. So the single tone produced by this movement will be different to the single tone we've already heard.
What?
Basically, each movement can only produce a single note.
But the notes they produce are different pitches. A music box can only play 2 tones. One side Morse code, the other side... It's the mechanism that turns the bumps on the disc.
Yes, the movement. It's all thanks to the comb within its teeth that are plucked from the passing bumps. Usually the teeth on the comb are different lengths so that each one produces a different tone. But this comb is very strange. All the teeth are exactly the same length.
Well, what does that mean?
It means that no matter which tooth is plucked by the passing bumps, the music will make the same sound. I've never seen a music box like it before.
It is strange. A music box can only play a single note. Aside from Morse code.
Hold it!
So in this newspaper headline article, accurate? Government communications are being intercepted? How could I possibly know? What do you mean by that? Any important government communications are handled by high-level officers, by specialists. General members of staff in the station where I work would never be entrusted with sensitive information. Unless you snuck in.
Oh, oh! Oh no, stop. Let's say something, stop.
Let me guess. Juror number 5?
You regular communication station officers aren't as lowly as you're being led to believe. A team of us are responsible for setting up and testing the telegraphs used by the Ministry. And Mr. Graydon is the team leader.
That's fascinating. I believe he's giving the juror, like, I'm gonna kill you after this look.
Graydon is a highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop.
Oh, you're a fangirl.
So you had access to the equipment used for these confidential communications, Mr. Graydon?
Well, what of it? Transmissions are always made behind closed doors so they can't be heard. And in any case, all messages are sent and ciphered. Normal employees couldn't possibly understand them.
Oh no, stop. Let's say something. Stop. Mr. Graydon regularly attends meetings with the Ministry technicians and the Ministry communications team. He assists them ensuring that there are no errors in important international communications. And he's received the top prize at the cipher cracking convention 5 years in a row. There's a cipher cracking convention.
That's fascinating too. Lady, please stop praising me.
Graydon's highly skilled operator, stop. Currently in presence of idol, stop. Marry me, stop.
Well, your idol would appreciate if you keep your mouth shut. She should really pick her idols more carefully. I tell you, this lawyer's accusations are completely unfounded.
Hold it!
They're not? To anyone with a brain, that would be blatantly apparent on listening to that music box even for a few seconds. Yeah, of course. Surely it can't be that my learned friend is unfamiliar with Morse code. He looks genuinely shocked at my ignorance.
I would be more than happy to demonstrate the basics for you, sir.
A lesson? Here in court? We already had a lesson in stereoscopes. Two distinct... Oh... Okay, I always thought Morse code was just one specific tone. Continuous series of two distinct tones. Tones, you say?
Yes, a short beep and a long beep. By combining those in different ways, you construct letters.
I see. Wait, so for the music box having two sides, I thought it would be like different. It would be like different notes. Like one side could be beep beep, the other could be beep beep beep. But isn't it one side plays dots and the other plays dashes?
For example, this is
A. B is... That's a lot of...
When you listen to the sound produced by this music box, you only hear one tone, don't you?
But it sounds similar. The rhythm of it is the same in everything. But there's no discernible meaning to this apparently random sequence of sounds. So your assertion is fundamentally flawed. This is not Morse code. Guys, I took another look at the music box. There's another side. Ew! Really, you shouldn't be so surprised. What did I tell you? That music box is nothing but a worthless piece of scrap. Perhaps you might consider studying your subject matter before casting aspersions in the future. Yeah, stop. Nothing to say but stop.
That's so frustrating, isn't it?
Iris?
I mean, if the government secrets were somehow being leaked using the music box, so many other things would slot into place so nicely.
There'd still be something I haven't considered. Would it really be impossible to use this music box somehow to play back Morse code? Flip it over! There's another side! There's still every possibility this music box was instrumental in the leaking of government secrets. It's believed in defense, at least.
Objection!
Does it please you in some way, my... nice shiny white teeth friend, to repeat the same line of argument ad infinitum? It's already been established that to be Morse code, two tones are required. Dots and dashes. I'm well aware of that. Then what? Well, it would appear the defense has a hypothesis put... Well, it appears the defense has a hypothesis put forward. I'm imagining Ryunosuke, he just takes the box, is like, behold! Throws it in the air so it flips and he reveals the other side. You had better present your idea at once, Counsel. How do you propose this music box, which appears to produce only a single tone, could have been used to decipher secrets into Morse code? Flip it over! Like so. Oh wait, do I... Haven't we already had this conversation? Oh, I have to present it.
Got it!
Got it!
Good gracious, what am I looking at here? Another movement on the underside of the music box.
What? It appears, my lord, that the two movements are linked together. In other words, you can put two discs in this music box, and the sounds of both will play back at the exact same time.
Good heavens!
As the court has heard, Morse code comprises of two tones, a short dot, meep, and a long dash, meep. With a second disc in place, this music box could be used to generate Morse code and convey a message. This is beyond a joke. I'm sorry? This poor excuse for a lawyer has absolutely no evidence to support his claims. Though, of course, if my learned friend were able to present the court with a second disc, that would be another... fuck! Do I have another disc? Well, we just played the disc on one side, made note of what it said, and then put it on the other side, and then tried putting it together. I can't at the moment. And may I remind the court that, as the witness has pointed out, he was not the one in the omnibus with McGilda 2 months ago, striking a deal over the disc, or discs.
Indeed, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
Exactly! I had nothing whatsoever to do with it! Fuck!
Though it has holes, I must admit the argument presented by the defense has much promise. I believe the cross-examination should continue.
Link between Graydon and the victim. Haven't found it yet. Okay, we'll just have to keep digging in the testimony. If I must, though, I maintain exactly what I did at the start of this pointless cross-examination. I'm now curious as to what this dude's breakdown animation is gonna be. Like, more wiggling and flailing? So 2 months ago in that omnibus, McGilda killed the brickmaker and stole the disc. Mr. Mason was a single man with almost nothing to his name. It seems he lived in the artisan quarter some years ago, but people there remember little about him. That doesn't make much sense, though, does it? How could a humble brickmaker come to acquire secret government information? Unless they were in maybe they were in cahoots? How indeed. Get that grin off your face! There must have been somebody else involved behind the scenes in all this. Somebody who acquired the disc and gave it to Mr. Mason. In order to take it to the meeting with McGilda and negotiate a deal. Dear me. You may have it in for me, sir, but I assure you, I have far more class than that! An old brickmaker from an artisan quarter and this well-to-do communications officer. He may look well-to-do, but it could be that he's broke. If only could find some evidence to link the two of them. Get that shit-eating grin off your face!
If you have nothing more to add on that note, let us return to the witness testimony.
Hold it!
Like Mr. Graydon told you to do?
That's it, yeah.
Who else, eh? Silly me thought we was just popping over for another, not after all these years. But the world had no dodgy job for us. Hey, Ash?
I don't know you. Let me stop you there, Mr. Skulkin. After all them years? Do you mean to tell me that Mr. Graydon is an acquaintance of yours?
We're the sociable kind of baddies, you know? Sure. Let's say Graydon's an old China.
Look at his cheeks.
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Mr. Skulkin?
Eh?
No, the shorter one.
What? Oh, me?
When your brother was testifying just now, he said something that seemed to cause you to react.
Oh, I was just remembering the old days, that's all. We used to have a right old laugh together way back when.
Together with Graydon?
Yeah, with Ash, I mean. Look at him in his fancy whistle and flute, and he wouldn't hum any of it.
Also Pear.
But when we was younger, he was from the old poor part of town, just like us.
Is that so?
But he was always a little one. He had the brains, had the savvy. Always coming up with smart ideas like what would never gone through our heads. God blimey, ain't that the truth? Remember Milverton and Skulkin's milk run? That was a corker, eh?
Save it until after the trial. Your reminiscing has no place in this courtroom. And neither does your fruit.
Oi, that geezer asked us a question, didn't he? We was answering. Yeah, we ain't done nothing wrong.
Nevertheless, the court is not prepared to accompany you on your trip down memory lane. Counsel, can we turn our attention back to the testimony?
I don't know. Could that Sentinel story be relevant somehow? Well, I mashed A by accident, but sure, add it. My lord.
Yes, counsel.
Brother's last sentimental statement. could hold vital information related to the case.
Very well, counsel. I will permit the brothers to supplement their testimony without detail. Briefly, I hasten to add.
Say no more! A skulkin's never skulkin'!
Milverton and Skulkin. I'm gonna press on the other statements and then go for the new one. Excuse me. So, did you know nothing about this music box?
We didn't know nothing! We didn't know nothing! We still don't know nothing! We ain't planning on knowing nothing about it either!
But 2 nights ago, you did indeed break into Windibank's pawnbrokery. In your original testimony, you said the door of the shop was ajar and that it was like some kind of a sign begging you to go in. But the truth is, you were planning to break into the Windibanks all along, weren't you?
We were, Gov, we were! You're right there! Cause that was what he told us to do! It was his plan!
And why was it Mr. Graydon's plan to break into Windibanks that night? Did you not ask the reason?
Well, he said the place was full of stuff with nicking. That's what he told us beforehand, anyway. Turned out it was a load of cobblers, didn't it? I want best plays, I can't tell you.
In any case, if they know the real reason, it doesn't sound like they're going to give it away. Alright, memory lane time.
Hold it!
I'm sure I'm going to regret asking, but what exactly was that? Some kind of business?
Total scheme we had going back when we was youngsters. A bit of fun, really. Delivering fresh milk to the locals, that's what it was all about.
That sounds alarmingly legitimate. There must be a catch.
We deliver milk and then we rob them.
I suppose since we're here, I should ask them to elaborate, but on what? What was it called again? Milverton and Skulkin. I guess the name? Because who was Milverton? So this business is just a bit of fun, you say? And it was just yourselves and Mr. Graydon involved?
Fruit! Yeah, that's it.
I don't think I've ever eaten a pear like that. Milverton and Skulkin's Milk Run.
Yeah.
And where did the Milverton part come from?
All right. I thought clever clogs like you would have worked that out.
Enough of this. How much longer are we expected to listen to this drivel?
Objection.
I don't... Let me guess. You don't accept anything these 2 witnesses are saying? Tell me, why is it that it was only at a mention of the name Milverton that you decided to interject? Is Ashley Graydon a fake name too? Because well...
It weren't the obvious homes that one came from.
Yeah.
I don't know, struggling for money and why walked out on him.
Don't tell me.
Graydon? Was bricklayer man your dad? She took the name Graydon then, say? That will always be Milverton to us.
Milverton. So that used to be your surname, did it? Of course not. That is all bunkum. I've been a Graydon since I was born. Do you really think you can rely on the testimony of those 2 thieves? You're a communications officer attached to the civil service. As such, your personal details will have been thoroughly checked at the time of your appointment. It would be a very simple matter indeed to subpoena those records, Mr. Graydon.
How many fake names does this guy have?
Well, it would appear that Mr. Skulkin's testimony has been reliable, for once. You were born Ashley Milverton, then? Is that correct?
Very well. Yes! So Ashley Graydon was once Ashley Milverton. That information could change things, and could turn out to be extremely important. All of a sudden we seem to be up to our necks in a serious matter of national security. Oh! I was right! It's his dad! Although this talk about interception of secret government messages is still just conjecture. It would explain a number of things though, wouldn't it? The negotiation Ginny overheard on the omnibus 2 months ago, and the break-in at Winterbanks. But the trouble is, it wasn't Mr. Graydon in the omnibus when Mr. McGill did. No, that was Mr. Mason, the brickmaker who was so horribly murdered. If only there was some link between the two men somehow. I can think of one. I know, but Mr. Graydon's testimony seems to be as watertight as ever. I wonder if the key to us making headway with the cross-examination here. Could be those two. I just got it from them. Saving just in case. No connection? What was it you said? You do no relation? Are you sure about that?
Objection!
Mr. Ashley Milverton. Tell me, why did you try to hide your former name from the court? Because I haven't gone by that name for years. It means nothing to me. No. I don't think that's a real explanation at all. The truth is, you had a reason to hide that name.
Explain yourself, please, counsel.
I have here the notes from the omnibus case, my lord. And as we all know, the victim, the man who we now know who we now understand to have been negotiating with Mr. McGill did.
Yes, Mr. Mason, the brickmaker.
That's right. Only Mason wasn't his surname at all. It was his given name. His full name was Mason Milverton.
Milverton? Do you mean to say Saint's alive?
Mr. Ashley Milverton. Is it not the case that the brickmaker, Mr. Mason Milverton, was your father? I don't. As I believe I mentioned earlier, your family history will have been thoroughly checked when you joined the civil service. And it really would take no time at all for the court to subpoena those records. The truth is, you have been illegally acquiring highly confidential government information that somehow wound up in your dad's hand and selling it on to McGill in collaboration with your father. Oh, to get themselves out of poverty? The twirl. The new facts and evidence unveiled by the cross-examination of this witness all come together to reveal the truth. The truth, you say? That you collaborated with your father, Mr. Mason Milverton, in illegal dealings with Magnus McGill did.
By dint of this music box, you mean, counsel?
Yep. Stealing information being sent in secret government communications and selling it on to McGill did. I'm sorry, I'm trying to think, like, if all three of them were in cahoots, then why did McGill kill the dad? Mr. Graydon concocted this elaborate scheme of using 2 music box discs to encode the information, as presumably a safety measure against the information falling into the wrong hands.
And a very effective one. I shouldn't have given this scheme any credit whatsoever.
But the deal with McGill went sour, and the brickmaker met his end. Yes, but before he was arrested, McGill managed to temporarily dispose of the stolen disc at the pawnbroker. Then, having learned of the situation, you appeared at Winterbanks 2 days ago. Ashley? Okay, Ashley. Because of all this crap that went down, are you the guy who set the omnibus on fire? You appeared at Winterbanks 2 days ago in an attempt to recover the 2 articles McGill had placed in pawn there. He has this look on his face like, what are you talking about? That attempt failed. One of the discs was seized by the police, and the other you never found. So that same night, you enlisted the help of the Skulkin brothers and broke into the pawnbrokery. This time, determined to recover the second disc.
Are you suggesting that the second disc was inside the music box?
Eh? Wait, we never knew nothing about that.
On the night that Mr. Winterbank was killed, the intruder to the pawnbrokery touched one item and one item alone. The music box.
As rather ingeniously demonstrated using the 2 prints from the security camera.
So the question that naturally begs answering is this. Why was only that one article disturbed? The answer is obvious. Because it contained the second disc, which the intruder was desperate to retrieve. Hehe. Since if it were to fall into the wrong hands of, like, say, the police, it would be proof of high treason. Well, Mr. Graydon, do you deny that all of this actually began on that fateful night, 2 months ago? I refuse to accept any of this nonsense. Is that an admission of guilt? Sir? There appears to be blood. See, what? Oh! I didn't even see that. Ah! 2 nights ago, we know that 3 shots were fired at the scene of the crime in Winterbank's pawnbrokery. One took the life of the pawnbroker himself. One struck the pouch around Mr. Sholmes' waist. And the final bullet struck the calendar on the wall of the shop, having first pierced the arm of the one of the intruders. Mr. Graydon, that wound on your arm that you seem to be trying to hide is a bullet wound, isn't it? You picked the wrong day to wear white!
He's got you now, me old China. Time to call it quits and croak, I reckon.
Don't acknowledge my presence there under any circumstances whatsoever. Those were my terms, remember? And I paid you handsomely to comply. Clearly I was a fool to think I could trust some common backslum thieves. Aren't they your childhood friends? Fine, I admit it. I was there in Winterbanks that night. I paid this pair 10 guineas to accompany me. And as you've noticed, I've sustained an injury in the course of my adventures. But that is all. I admit to nothing more. Stealing government secrets? Negotiating with Mr. McGilded? As God as my witness, I'm sure I recalled nothing of the sort. He's not gonna go down without a fight. Not until I can show hard evidence, I guess. Do I have hard evidence? Nevertheless, the defense has now established a crucial fact. Which is... well, we know that one bullet was fired from each of the 2 firearms we have in evidence. Oh, the third gun! Where is it? The bullet from the Skulkin brothers' gun hit the pouch around Mr. Sholmes' waist. And the bullet from Mr. Winterbank's gun clearly must have been the one that caught Mr. Graydon on the arm.
Indeed it must. You can rule out the possibility that the man shot himself.
Where's the other gun, buddy? And that leads us to only one conclusion. Mr. Winterbank was shot by a third gun. Which can only have been fired by the third intruder.
Goodness!
That's right, Mr. Graydon. The only person who could have possibly have shot Mr. Winterbank that night is you!
Hold it! Is that him?
It's him. You little upstart. You made a grave mistake when you summoned me here.
Huh?
What's that supposed to mean? I just imagine like, ow! You knocked over my fish and chips! Yes, as he's rightly say, I was there at the pawnbrokers. I did my best to hide the fact, naturally. I had no intention of ruining the distinguished career I'd built for myself at the communication station. Just ask juror number 5. But did the thought never cross your mind? Did you never consider the possibility? Of what? What thought? What possibility? The possibility that if I was there at the scene, I may have witnessed the crucial moment. You see, Jojo, this makes me a key witness in this case, and I have my hands firmly around the neck of your client.
Yeah. Are you suggesting?
I saw it all. I saw the very moment that pickpocket girl pointed the gun at that poor defenseless pawnbroker and shot him.
Nani?
What now? Well, it would seem we are finally entering the last act of this theatrical trial.
Mr. Graydon.
Yes? My arm hurts.
I trust you are fully aware of the implications here. If it is shown that your claim is false, you will have incriminated yourself as the killer. Oh, I understand fully.
And I must ask you to give your formal testimony once more. You will explain to the court precisely what you saw the moment the defendant allegedly shot the victim.
Enchanté. Nothing would give me greater pleasure.
Your hand is in my fish and chips.
While these ruffians were jostling with the broker, I was still near the entrance to the shop. When Winterbank threw Nash over the counter, I felt a sharp pain in my arm. Pursued the man, but he shut himself in the storeroom. I could see him through the peephole in the door. The accused in a black coat shot the man in the back as he was trying... What? Did she still have the jacket on her? Shot the man in the back as he was trying to flee to safety. I saw the blood splatter all over that wretched girl. Eh?
Get that cane out of my face!
Then she tossed the gun out the peephole, so I picked it up and made my escape. Wait. We found her with the gun in hand, though.
Good gracious, this is quite extraordinary testimony.
Is it? Get that shit-eating grin off your face.
You claim, sir, under oath, to have clearly seen the defendant pulling the trigger. What the?
It wasn't my intention to testify in this way. But neither is it my intention to be found guilty of a murder I didn't commit. Lies! So you see, my hand has been forced. I tell the truth now as an act of self-preservation. Stop doing your boogie-woogie. The truth? Until now, the prosecution was completely unaware of these details. Yeah, well, sorry about that. Having shot me in the arm, the pawnbroker was then shot in the back by the accused. And as I said, she was showered in his blood. Do I have... Wrong button. Go back! Do I have anything... Whoop. Sorry. I have a little footstool and I accidentally knocked it over. Let me see if I can get it back up. Cause I've been playing this whole game standing up, and I need a footstool since, you know, feet get tired. Alright. Okay, let's see. She knows holding when she was found unconscious. There are signs of a... Will this count? Oh yes, quite sure. All over the black overcoat that pickpocket girl was wearing at the time.
Really?
Excuse me. Wait, now I think about it. Where is it? Did Gina get rid of the overcoat? Cause no one's... Cause up until Iris shot it, no one knew there was blood on it.
Really? If a coat could somehow be shown to harbor vestiges of blood, that would be conclusive evidence here.
Speaking of blood, I have some here. Want a sip? Such an investigation is entirely possible, my lord. Huh? Only very recently, a German scientist has developed a technique to identify human blood. So here's the true science, not some amateurish detective's dubious foray into the world of chemistry.
There's nothing dubious about Early's work. His ideas are sound. I'm gonna put you in a box 6 feet under.
Ideas are no use to us here. In science, as in law, theories must be proven before they stand. In Germany, the technique has already been employed in the courtroom as the basis of evidence. Scotland Yard has a small quantity of the chemical reagent used. Luminol? With your lordship's permission? Glass number 21. It could shatter all vestiges of doubt within minutes. This doesn't look good, Runo.
Why not?
Well, we know, don't we? That there's blood all over the front of Ginny's coat. Oh, shit. We know whose blood it is, but no one else does. They're gonna think it's Winterbank's. They test it with their chemicals. Oh, help, you're right! I was forgetting what happened yesterday.
Fly in the hole!
Like, okay, sure, science has things to show what, like, where blood is, but currently it can't determine whose. But that's not Mr. Winterbank's blood. The stain is from 2 months ago. That's Mr. Mason's, from when he was stabbed by Mr. McGilded. My lord, the defense objects to the test proposed by the prosecution.
Overruled. Lord Van Zit, make it so.
With pleasure, my lord.
And while we wait the results, the defense may proceed with the cross-examination.
Once they find that blood on the overcoat, Gina's screwed.
Counsel!
Yes! Cross-examination. Okay. This cross-examination... If this doesn't go well, if I don't manage to uncover some decisive evidence or a really compelling clue, I've got a very bad feeling about this. Do I need multiple saves? Anyway.
Hold it!
Here's our storeroom. Ringo and Nash were scouring the counter when he suddenly appeared and flew at them. Quite literally! He can fly through the air. He already had the revolver in his hand. Fortunately, I wasn't too close.
I've never been so scared in all my life.
Yeah, we were just your regular mild-mannered burglars, that's all. We don't like violence. Says the pair who carry a gun. What do you mean when you say you were near the entrance to the shop? I was in the doorway, running my eyes over the shelves of forfeited items. Looking for the music box, of course. The broker went for Nash in the first place. Then Ringo joined in, making it 2 against 1. So I assumed they could handle the situation. But I was wrong.
Was trying to help me, little bruv, but the old geezer chucked me over the bloomin' counter.
Okay, either Winterbank is extremely beefy, or Ringo's a lightweight.
So I put me gun on the old fella, and that's what made him a scalper.
Have you get it shouting upon the poor defense's pawnbroker together? Shame on you.
Sorry, Gav. Hold it!
You mean that's the moment you were shot? Yes, though I didn't immediately realize what had happened, of course. Things crashed to the floor from the counter as the three men were brawling. It was at exact that moment that it happened, so I didn't hear the gunshot. Really? Is it possible to not hear a gunshot over the sound of items smashing to the floor? And the bullet went on to strike the calendar on the wall. So it would appear. When I looked at my arm, I saw it was bleeding badly, so I wrapped my handkerchief around it. Seeing as I couldn't explain what had happened to a doctor, I had no choice but to wait for it to heal. I didn't imagine it would still be bleeding 2 days later. Did Mr. Windibank intend to shoot you, do you think? Well now, I don't imagine he even noticed I was there, to be honest.
You're in all white! In a dark building, anyone would have spotted you.
Perhaps the gun went off accidentally. Anyway, it didn't quite strike home.
When I pulled the gun on him, he tried to shove me out of the way! And then he scuppered through the door.
To which point, what did you do? I just realized Von Zeke's whole, don't bring fruit into the courtroom. What about the fish and chips?
Hold it!
You mean you chased after him? I don't recall the reason why, but I ran after him to the back of the shop. And what about this peephole in the door you mentioned? Well, unsurprisingly, the storeroom door is a solid job, made of stout wood. But there's a small opening in about a head height that lets you see what's what in there from the outside. Actually, I should know that, shouldn't I? I looked through it myself that night. What about your burgling brothers? Did you see what went on through the peephole as well?
Not likely, Gov! Didn't see nothing of the sort, Gov!
I doubt these two buffoons are even aware of the peephole's existence. So Skulkin brothers were there, but they didn't see the killing. Inside the storeroom, I could see the broker and that young girl standing there.
The defendant?
Yep. So neither of them noticed that I was looking. The girl raised her gun and pointed it straight at the man. Would that count, he said by straight, do you mean it's just in a straight line, or just diagonally upward?
And then, what did you see next?
Wham! Yes, when the crime was discovered, the defendant was found with a gun in her hand. But that was Mr. Windibank's gun, from which only a single bullet had been fired. And as we've already established, Mr. Graydon, that bullet was fired at you. But no, it wasn't the broker's gun that the pickpocket girl had when I saw her. Yes, the bullet from Windibank's gun grazed my arm. And yes, the Skulkin's gun grounded the detective. But this was another gun entirely. A third gun. The broker's gun was not the murder weapon, so clearly there had to be a third firearm involved. In other words, the accused must have had her own gun with her at the time. I was about to say, assuming the Scotland Yard, searched the entire building. What? Searched the entire building and Gina's person. One they determined she didn't have it.
Objection!
But no other gun was found at the scene. Hold on one sec. Let's try to do a quick thing, so. Excuse me. Alright. Calm yourself, counsel. Sorry? You must consider the events in order. At first I saw the broker and the girl glaring at each other, but then all of a sudden, the broker turned to run. And it was at that moment that the little gutter rat shot him in the back.
chilling image, I must say.
Hold it!
All over her? Yes, through the peephole, I saw it clearly. Of course, the stains are invisible now, what with the coat being such a dark color.
Wham!
But I assure you, that garment is sullied with the victim's blood.
Well, he's not wrong, but it's someone else's blood.
Well, it's not Mr. Winterbank's blood, is it? No, that's right. It's Mr. Mason Milverton's, the one McGill stabbed him 2 months ago.
So annoying. If only they had only accepted Early's chemical analysis, we could prove that.
They won't. So unfortunately, we can't use it as evidence to support our case.
Bother.
Oh, bother. Get that stick out of my face!
Wait, wrong button. What's your feeling? I don't see any obvious holes. Gotta find a way to break him. Quickly, too, because once you discover the blood... I know a way to break him. Gina, give me your gun!
It's strange that he's so sure of himself about seeing the blood splatter over Ginny's coat. It almost struck me as the sort of thing you'd climb if you hadn't genuinely seen it happen.
But we know that Gina didn't shoot Mr. Winterbank, so what's going on?
All I know is that it's very unfair.
Sorry, may I?
Why should some German scientist's test be acceptable as evidence when mine and Early's wasn't? Detectives can use test tubes too!
I'll prove it! I'll shoot him with one!
Never mind that, I had to find a really stark inconsistency in that testimony. Okay, the last statement Excuse me.
Hold it!
Did I hear you correctly? She threw the gun out the room? That's right. After the broker fell to the floor, she started walking over.
Over where exactly?
In the direction of the storeroom door, to where I was watching. Of course, I quickly retreated, and then... the girl dropped the gun through the peephole onto the floor on my side of the door.
Why on earth would she do such a thing?
I couldn't tell you. Perhaps she was hoping to distance herself from the murder weapon. Without thinking, I went and picked it up. I suppose I was worried about just leaving it there, in case any more tragedy took place.
In fact, I have it over here with me. See?
Whips out gun. So it was you in fact who took the third gun from the scene of the crime? Yes, it was yours truly. Don't be proud. I left the clear up to my lackeys and left.
Clear up.
We made a bit of a mess around the counter, so Mr. Whistling Flute here told us to tidy up. He thinks our bloomin' mum sometimes.
Well, I was paying you enough, by God.
Eh?
Tell me, Mr. Graydon, when you left the pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket?
You little toe rag!
Little toe rag? Oh! Wait! Are we witnessing another murder?
Excuse me!
Wait, what? Okay. Gentlemen. Why are you blushing? Something wrong, sunshine? Yeah, that should be my line. You do realize you were just violently shaking Mr. Skulkin.
Why, mate, this thing's a bit of an hooligan, ain't he?
What was going on just now?
You saw him? He grabbed me whistle. Why the blazes, he said. Didn't you mention the third gun when you got you down the station?
And why didn't you?
Cause we didn't know nothing about it. What a flaming people in the door.
Sorry about that. I can be prone to losing my rag sometimes. Not hurt, are you? You think?
God blimey, see the way he's looking at me? I'm telling you, this day gives me the willies.
How strange. The inspector doesn't normally get quite as worked up as that. He wouldn't normally grab someone.
No, that wasn't like Gregsy at all. He's normally all sweetness and light, no matter what I say to him.
He is to you, but for me, it's sort of like just gruff and eh. Yeah, well, I think you might be a special case, Iris.
Well, anyway, that was definitely out of character.
How? I need me fish and chips to calm down.
Am I dead?
Explain yourself, officer. I have the results of the test that were ordered earlier. The blood on the accused overcoat. Did I mess up? Well, there you have it. Hold up. Can the test determine how old, like, whether the blood was, like, when the blood appeared there? Because it could be like, well, this coat is covered in blood from 2 months ago. Wait a minute.
Yes, sir. Traces of human blood were found on the overcoat of the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade. From the extent of the stains, it would appear that they were the result of spattering following a gunshot. What? Wasn't Mason stabbed though? End of report.
Goodness me!
Hey, the brothers left.
Whee!
See? What did I tell you? All those ballet classes are paying off!
Objection.
No, the blood on the coat is not Mr. Windibank's.
What on earth makes you say that, Counsel?
The coat originally belonged to Magnus McGilded. Just before his coat was deposited in Windibank's, McGilded had fatally stabbed Mr. Mason Milverton. So the blood on that overcoat is the blood of the brickmaker from the omnibus case.
Objection.
Well, the dead cannot speak. Is that right, my Nico friend? Sorry? 2 months ago in this very courtroom, did you not argue fervently for McGilded's innocence? And yet now that the man is dead, you brand him as a murderer. Glass number 22. Your conduct shatters any shred of respect you may have earned for yourself in this country. Okay, that was a very... Okay, that case... How do I put myself into the game and yell, that was a very... Like, there were some certain strings being pulled in that case, or if I didn't get him innocent, I'll be kicked out and sent to Japan.
I call it a bloody disgrace. Treachery, that's what it is.
How to determine whether the blood on that coat is 2 months old or not? Even a stereoscope couldn't help. Even a stereoscope couldn't find the answer to that. It can't be done!
We use Mr. Sholmes' specially formulated chemic. Mr. Sholmes is a detective, not a chemist.
Would you put such faith in a chemical formula devised by me, for example, when I'm a communications officer? I held out Podolsky to starving boy, and he ran away crying. Sherlock Sholmes is barely more than a figment of the public's imagination. What if he just busts into court, is like, hey guys, I'm back! His name carries no weight in this courtroom. No weight at all.
How could you say that?
Victory is sweet indeed. This proves that my testimony is the whole truth from start to finish.
How did you arrive to such a conclusion, sir?
As the witness said, the accused's coat was splattered with the blood of the victim. The only way Mr. Graydon could have possibly known that fact is if he saw it happen. In other words, his testimony is solid and the conclusion is singular. It was the accused who shot the victim in this case. That is the whole truth. Can we not? What about...
Are we just gonna forget the whole treason thing?
My lord! Been a long battle, this one, but this old wars has something to say now.
Oh no.
As of this moment, sir, the squadron has reached its final decision. Ready, men! All for one now! Sir,
Guilty.
Ah, jeez.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Is this game over?
Guilty.
Head desk.
Well, it would appear that ladies and gentlemen of the jury have reached a unanimous verdict.
Can we do another summation? The defense has consistently failed to unpick this witness's testimony. Here's to an attempt you may make at unpicking the jurors' decisions being equally successful. I don't believe it. After I've come so far. How is it all unraveling on me so fast? Is this really the end? Huh? How very distracting to be held with such low self-esteem. Wait a minute! Are you who I think you are? Are you Sholmes in disguise?
Officer, you delivered the report now. That will be all, thank you.
It occurs to me some regularity, Mr. Naruhodo. That scientific truths are determined not by science, but by none other than the human mind. I know that. It's Sholmes! He escaped! Am I going mad? I knew it! How do we not see your hair? Mr. Sholmes! Where'd you get the mustache? What's the meaning of this? By the way, the doctor there, can you operate on me again? I feel a stabbing in my stomach. What business do you have here, detective? The last I heard, you were recuperating in hospital. I escaped! As well as I would be, had I not been set upon an errand. What errand? Early, it's really you! You're awake at last! Yes, good day, Iris. I appear to be rather late to rise. My apologies. No, my lord, if you would humor me. In what matter, sir? I need to change clothes. I have something of great importance I wish to give to the young lawyer over there. I need no more than 5 minutes. Would you be so kind as to spare us the time? What say you to this, Lord Van Cheeks? I need more wine. A stronger wine. This trial has taken many hours of the court's time, having spent so long already. Exactly! I've been spent so long already, we don't want to go wasting any more precious time! As I was saying, having spent so long already, it would seem churlish to deny the defense a mere 5 minutes.
Very well then, counsel, you have 5 minutes.
I just imagine, like, magical girl transforming out of the bailiff uniform and into his detective gear. My dear fellow, I apologize for my tardy arrival. Are you alright? Alright, I'm all wrong! My sides hurt! I've only just managed to summon the strength to stand, man! I asked the judge for 5 minutes, and please pull a chair, I'm about to pass out. I fear even that may prove too much for me. Pray forgive me should I pass out. Me too! Should you go back to the hospital? Apparently, this place is full of idiots! None of them can say how wonderful your chemical blood analysis is. Oh well, that concoction of mine was really just a bit of sport to assist me in my investigations. I never took the trouble to refine it for appraisal by the scientific community. An oversight on my part. Right. Modesty? Him? But enough of that. I'm here to give you this. Oh, that's a cute handkerchief, my dear fellow. Wait. Oh, it... Like, Susato... Is it... Does Susato have that fabric? A leaving present from Miss Susato. Susato? If possible, matters were to be settled without me giving you this. Those were her instructions when she asked me to do her this favor. I don't... What? Miss Susato foresaw today's event, I believe. She knew that the culprit would attempt to escape justice by means both devious and underhand.
And that you, Mr. Naruhodo, fighting fairly as you are wont to do, would find yourself in considerable peril. At that very moment of crisis, you are to be given this small parcel. You know the phrase, if you can't beat them, join them. Those were the dear lady's instructions. A leaving present. Whatever could it be? Can I open it? Oh. Wait a minute, isn't that the door? Iris, isn't that your door-making invention? Oh! It's a machine I made! Oh yeah, for the kitty! Now I think about it, where is the cat anyway? Iris brought it in. Iris brought it to the court, but then they ran off. Look, I use this. It's my latest invention. What is that?
I'll call it the cat flap-o-mat. I can make a cat flap for a little fairy friend like Waggy in seconds.
Do I use it on what do I use it on? Graydon's head?
What's Susie up to?
Mrs. Sato muttered the following words before she left.
I'm a failure. I don't deserve to be a judicial assistant.
She doesn't sound like that, does she? Did she say something like that? You really are the best judicial assistant in the world.
Well, that's extremely flattering. But I'm sorry to say that I've been a complete failure.
Everyone get your thinking caps on.
Whatever did she mean by that, Mr. Sholmes?
That night when you left Winterbanks in pursuit of the thieves, Mr. Sato made use of this contraption for a certain purpose. Oh my god, did she make a second peephole? That is your answer, dear fellow. Not at all cryptic, then. Does how to use this cat flap-o-mat? Why? I'm guessing she used it on the door? Glass number 23. I lost count. Your 5 minutes is over. We're out of time already? Hold on. I'm grateful to you for affording us that brief recess, Mr. Reaper. I need no thanks, Detective. And after all, the die is cast. Speaking of die, you should probably go to a hospital before you do just that.
Is it really?
The jurors are unanimous in their leanings. No doubt my learned friend will consider a summation examination. But any attempt to alter the verdict now will be utterly futile. I wonder...
Mr. Naruhodo!
Hi? The rest is down to you, my dear fellow. What is your plan? The rest is down to me. My lord of defense requests... I genuinely, like, okay, I feel like summation examination, I would be able to, like, get more information, but at the same time, with everything that's been said, their opinions might not change. Well, for further cross-examination, I could present the cat flap gun, but I don't know how to prove anything! Okay,
Okay, I'm gonna pick... Alright, I'm trying to remind myself that I can always just reload, so... Because of the whole jury thing, I'm gonna follow procedure, and if that fails me, I can just reload back to the more cross-examination. My only chance to appeal to jurors and try to change their minds. What do you think you're at? Would you let this final piece of evidence she left you go to it? Oh, okay. So summation examination is the wrong choice. And I'm kind of glad they're calling me out on it so that the game doesn't actually make me do it. I don't think that's what Arlene means, Bruno. Huh? Have you forgotten where we are in the trial?
Hold it! Objection!
The jurors have spoken. Protocol dictates that you may not cross-examine a new witness now.
Objection!
Rules are made to be broken today! The defense is not asking for the cross-examination of a new witness. Rather, to continue with one of an existing witness. What? It would appear that a rather important detail has escaped your attention, Mr. Reaper.
My lord! Requesting your bailiff's permission to intercept.
Oh! Woo! I completely forgot about that. So nobody can say anything then. If Bruno asks to resume his cross-examination of Mr. Graydon, court is obliged to allow it. Nay, is absurd, my heart!
I would remind those present that this is my courtroom. I concur that the defense is entirely within its rights to request a continuation of the cross-examination. However, I will not permit an unremitting protraction of these proceedings. Therefore, I have decided to afford the defense one final opportunity in concluding cross-examination.
One?
Counsel, you must choose but one statement,
Oh boy.
and but one piece of evidence to support of your argument against it.
Single chance to present evidence.
If, following that, the situation remains unchanged, I shall move to adjudication. Is that clear, counsels? You will not press the witness any further.
My lord. Yes, my lord.
A single statement and a single piece of evidence. Most generous.
I don't know, feels less generous. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, it's time I... Uh-oh. Go to the hospital! Mr. Jones! That was one dramatic faint. You... Sorry, I just was like, hello, good sir, I come to deliver a package. Goodbye! Blech.
To stand so insouciantly before the court in a state of such high fever, either demands extraordinary strength of mind or an extraordinary lack of feeling.
Or an extraordinary lack of brain cells. I imagine he's fearing very, very little now. The detective is sleeping soundly in one of the antechambers.
Strike a man when he's down, why don't you? Return counsel, are you fully prepared?
I have the cat door gun. One statement, one evidence. I won't let him down. Slap. I won't waste this final chance that Susato-san has given me. This is going to decide the entire outcome of the trial.
Very well then, under the terms I have outlined, you may resume the cross-examination.
I'm nervous. Oh my god, the music changed. Like, originally there was, music for just regular testimony and then critical testimony. Now this is the do or die music. Lordship is only going to allow me to present one piece of evidence. It's clear what that piece of evidence should be. How in the world did Susie manage to sneak off with this without me noticing? Her sleeves, their hammer space. Did she use it in the pawnbrokery? Yes, at least that's what Mr. Sholmes said. I was only gone from the place for about 5 minutes when I went after Skulkin Bros. What possible reason could Susato have to have used this in the time? Could it be that when she used it, what she did with a cat flap-a-mat completely changes one of the key premises? I'm pretty sure she used the flap to make a peephole at the bottom of the door, and he used it to shoot Windabank from the bottom. But figuring out how to present that... Okay, if this is wrong, I can always reload. Please.
Objection!
The music stopped.
What on earth is that eccentric contraption, Counsel?
Oh, it's my cat flap-a-mat, my lord. It makes a way cats to get in and out of a room. You can cut through any door you can think of, and make a new little door in the middle of it.
That's right, my lord. It's a device for creating so-called cat flaps. Wanna test it? Small doors for cats to come and go as they please without their owners having to... I'm sure we can all work that out for ourselves. But that cat lover's contrivance has no possible relevance to this case. Oh, really? Of course it doesn't. To start with, there was no cat flap in the pawnbroker's door.
Not being a keeper of cats myself, I'm afraid I fail to see what this has to do with the matter at hand.
Perhaps it would help if I described its function another way, then. This contraption is able to create a peephole in any door you can imagine in practically no time at all.
I beg your pardon? A peephole, you say?
2 nights ago, we arrived at the scene only minutes after the murder of Mr. Windabank had taken place. That's right, according to the paperwork at the yard, it was you, your Japanese assistant, and Sholmes. Yes, the 3 of us were together. And it's recently come to my attention that my assistant made use of this device at the time.
Your assistant did what?
There was a peephole in the storeroom door. I can attest to that. But what if there was a second one? Because I looked through the peephole myself in order to see inside the locked storeroom. This is ludicrous. What are you trying to say? Of course there was a peephole in the door. I said as much as in my testimony. How else could I have witnessed the scene, for pity's sake? Yes. How could you? Huh?
Counsel, kindly share what you mean.
Wait, what? Was that peephole? Did she, like, make it like there wasn't a peephole in the first place and then she added one? Alright, it's time. Time to strike the final blow. What I mean is this, my lord. My assistant made the peephole in the storeroom door, and until such time as she did, the door had no hole in it to look through.
No!
Objection!
This is a farce! Are you really suggesting that the peephole in the door was... Yep, it was created only after the incident had taken place. It was originally for cats, by my judicial assistant using this device.
Your assistant tampered with a crime scene whilst being fully aware of the gravity of her actions? That is the most serious act of vandalism!
For which I humbly apologize. It was in the few minutes that I left the scene in order to pursue the Skulkin brothers and alert the police. Nevertheless, in the light of this new information, it becomes apparent that Mr. Graydon's testimony is riddled with holes. Not much like a peephole.
Riddled with... Explain yourself, counsel.
I'm guessing it was one of those... wait, if there was no peephole to begin with, then how did he see it? The majority of Mr. Graydon's testimony that appears to incriminate the defendant is based upon what he witnessed through the peephole in the storeroom door. Yes, that filthy girl shooting the man in the back. However, if at the time of the incident, the peephole didn't exist yet, there's no possible way that you could have seen what you claim to have seen. In short, your entire testimony is a pack of lies!
I'm gonna destroy this man's career! Is there any credence in this revelation?
Objection!
None whatsoever, as my learned friend must surely realize. Exactly! This is just some cheap trick designed to discredit me!
He's trying to cancel me!
I'm afraid not, sir. Of course it is! Do you seriously expect people to believe that that plaything can cut through a solid wooden door? Wanna try it right now?
Oh yes, I designed it to be very powerful. It can cut through even the toughest of doors.
That's absurd. I don't believe it for a second.
Ha, I had a feeling you'd say that.
What?
Waggy! Cooey!
Cooey? Either that's the name of another pet, or it's just how she... Or it's like another way to call cats. Like,
Waggy! Cooey! Time for dinner! Yay!
Also, I just noticed Waggy has a little bow tie. It's so cute!
Well?
Young lady, this is the Old Bailey. One does not make cat flaps in the oak paneling of the Old Bailey.
I'm not done yet, don't worry. This doesn't mean that the peephole in the storeroom door at Windibanks was made by your machine. And there's no way you can prove that it was.
No, but it's easy.
What?
The cat flaps my cat flapper-mat creates are all of a fixed size, and the dimensions of the peephole at Windibanks are an exact match. Oh, Silky's lost for words.
Excellent work, Iris. Thank you. And now it's my learned student's friend's turn to be lost for words, I feel. I believe your judicial assistant has already left the country for your Eastern Island home. Why do you know this? Well, yeah, that's true. Then you may have some difficulty in establishing all of the facts. For the sake of argument, let us assume the peephole has dimensions that are a perfect fit for this contraption. Also, may I pet the cat? In that case, when was the peephole cut? The prosecution demands proof of your answer.
What is the purpose of your line of inquiry, Lord Van Jeeks?
It's very simple, my lord. The defense argues that the peephole was created after the incident using this device. But now that the perpetrator has returned to her native land, she cannot testify to the fact. There is no proof. Iris, please tell me there's a date on the gun that marks when when it's used. And for as long as the defense remains unable to prove when the peephole was made, my learned friend's claim amounts to nothing more than a baseless accusation.
Indeed, that is so, Lord Van Jeeks. Well, counsel?
Don't give up now, Runo. It's the time to create your own opening and force your way through. And I'll shoot people through it.
Please don't. I don't know if I can do this, but I do know one thing. Susato-san is the greatest judicial assistant in the world.
What do I do? Very well, the counsel for the defense will present evidence to support the claim made. Proof that the peephole in the door of Windibank's store was created after the event and not before.
Oh! Oh!
Take that!
This has to be it, right? What are you? A print from that detective's infernal cameras? Again? My judicial assistant, Miss Susato Mikotoba, is an extremely intelligent and capable woman, which is why I never had any cause to doubt that she would have considered this scenario and made sure I had the necessary proof.
And the necessary proof is in this photographic print, Counsel?
This print shows a scene in the shop moments after the defendant entered the premises. Let's look at the door. It also shows the accuser mercilessly wielding a gun in the direction of the defenseless broker. But, more to the point, look at the door! It pictures the storeroom door in the background.
Let me see that print again. I don't believe it. This really is quite remarkable. The door to the storeroom is completely devoid of people of any description.
Mr. Graydon, you couldn't possibly have witnessed the crime as you claim to have done, because at the time it had happened, there was no peephole in the door. In other words, your testimony is ass! It's a catalog of lies. Eat shit, Graydon!
I'm satisfied that the defense has substantiated his claim beyond all reasonable doubt.
I think he's dead.
This witness's testimony was entirely fallacious.
That's not the only thing we now know beyond all reasonable doubt. My learned friend's assistant's guilt can no longer be denied. The woman tampered with a crime scene. Shit. But more importantly,
Good lord, there's more?
the defense may have established a reprehensible instance of perjury. But that is no proof that this man is the victim's killer. What? Oh shit. Yes, that's right. Huh? I was there at the scene. It's true. And I was shot in the arm. It's true. Okay, I think I liked his, the hair, I don't know, I like his hair down a lot more than earlier when it was more, calmly and composed, combed. But that's all. Yes, in fact, if you look at the circumstances, I'm the victim here. Oh, please. I don't believe this. But they're right. As it stands now, I don't have any definitive proof that he's the culprit. Still, he can't worm his way out. He can't worm his way out of it now. Iris, you know what they say. Kitty! There's no point locking the cat's door after the cat has bolted. Kitty, come back! I need serotonin. I need to pet you for serotonin. Isn't that right, Runo? As Early always says, one lie begets another. No, wait. That might have been a line I wrote for him in one of my stories. Well, no matter who said it first, you're right. Mr. Graydon, not only did you give false testimony to the court, but the lies you told make no sense. Make no sense? What do you mean by such a remark? What you said in your testimony reveals that you know something you shouldn't have known. In other words, there is a fundamental inconsistency in your statements. What?
Objection!
This is provocative talk, counsel. Won't you enlighten the court? Explain this alleged inconsistency. Iris was right. One lie begets another. The inconsistency is revealed by the lies in the witness's testimony. They show that Mr. Graydon had knowledge of something he shouldn't have known anything about. Namely, has to be, right? The bloodstains that were present on Miss Lestrade's coat. That's right. The victim's blood splattered all over her when she shot him. How could you have possibly known that? Obviously, because I saw her do it through the peephole in the... Eat shit! The point is not that you lied in your testimony, Mr. Graydon. It's the nature of the lie you concocted that is so revealing. You're not making any sense. Now let me ask you a simple question. How is it, Mr. Graydon, that you knew of the existence of the peephole in the storeroom door? What? Well, obviously I... Has the cat got your tongue witness? Or has the cat got your tongue witness? Even though the cat already left? The peephole in the door was made after the incident occurred. And once I returned to the shop having failed to catch the two burglars, Scotland Yard's investigators arrived immediately. Since that time, the police have been at Windibanks constantly, carrying out their investigation. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson?
Well, yes, of course. The place is chock full of pawned articles, and my lads have to thoroughly examine them all. So I gave them the order to have officers working round the clock and shift so we get through it all.
And consequently, there's no way that you, Mr. Graydon, could have gained access to the shop. Therefore, you should have known nothing about the peephole in the storeroom door. So the fact that its existence forms the basis of your testimony is completely inexplicable.
Objection!
And yet, the fact remains that Mr. Graydon did maintain that he witnessed the crime take place through the peephole in the door.
How on earth is that possible?
Hello?
Can I have a word, please, Lord Van Zeeks?
Speak.
It's just that I really ought to be getting back to the station now to put in my report. There's really nothing more I can add to this testimony, so if it's all the same to you...
Permission to...
Like, can I leave now?
No.
Okay.
It's not all the same to me, Inspector. Not at all. You will remain exactly where you are until this trial concludes, even if it's midnight or tomorrow. Of course, sir. Mr. Graydon. You shouldn't have known about the existence of that peephole. Which can only mean that you must have been informed about it by someone else.
Objection!
Stop that, my learned friend. You realize, I trust, that the words you just uttered have extremely serious implications. Either he snuck in or word got leaked. But the defense believes that the details about this case that Mr. Graydon claims to have seen must have been revealed to him by a certain person before his testimony. Wait a minute, when Graydon and Gregson were chatting earlier, is that what? Is that when? In fact, considering a particular clue we have, there's really only one person that could be.
Who's the person in question, Counsel?
Who gave this witness details of the crime scene to facilitate his false testimony. Saving. Crap. Now I'm not... I was leaning towards Gregson since they were whispering earlier, but seeing as Strongheart is the chief, is basically the Chief Justice, maybe he's getting information from everyone.
Take that!
The truth is, it can only have been you, Inspector Gregson. Oh, that's why he wants to leave.
Me!
Objection!
You better have some proof to substantiate such a rash claim, my learned friend. Consider the fact that we have only been aware of Mr. Ashley Graydon's identity for the last few hours. We learned of it only during the course of this trial. Also, can I just point out Gregson's the way he's acted this whole time? Like, for one, choking one of the Skulkin Bros, throwing a fit over the music discs, and preparation for assessment of research while the police executed Sabrina brought the man here for the communication station. And until that time, Mr. Graydon would have no idea, no inkling that he would suddenly be required to appear in court.
Are you suggesting until such time as he was summoned?
Yep. Until then, it's reasonable to assume he knew nothing of the peephole. It was only once Mr. Graydon was in the stand that he realized his position. That he would have to defend himself against the accusation that he was the third intruder. You're suggesting to the court that it was while this trial was in progress?
Did you not see them conversing?
So that he could commit perjury in order to save his skin? Exactly. And the only person with knowledge of the investigation that he had any contact with is you, Inspector Gregson.
There's a blooming outrage! Why would I be giving away?
I was summoned to his lordship's chambers during the recess in any case. Had you forgotten that?
Quite true. I had a number of questions regarding the events that transpired at the pawnbrokery.
Which means the first time these two laid eyes on one another was after proceedings resumed following the recess. Since then, they've been in full view in the stand, where such illicit discussions couldn't possibly have occurred.
We just saw it!
Oh, I just remembered something, Rita. Was it, Iris? There was one time before, wasn't there? I think it was when Ginny was testifying. Oh yeah, now you mention it. When the bailiff was dispatched to retrieve McGilden's music box from the scene of the crime.
Oh yeah! Finally, we remember that moment.
I remember finding it strange at the time. Mr. Graydon and the inspector seemed to be having some kind of secret discussion.
Am I seriously the only one who saw that?
It would have been possible for you to give Mr. Graydon the information he needed then.
You're making this all up! I'm a respectable Scotland Yard inspector, for crying out loud! Why would I do something like that?
Admittedly, you wouldn't have had any reason to do something like that. But perhaps it was part of a deal of some kind. Then it starts to make more sense. Oh! Because of the whole government thing going on. It was like, work with me and I'll get you the information. What deal, Counsel? I wonder if perhaps in exchange for details about the people of the crime scene, Mr. Green agreed to give a certain something to the inspector.
I'm sure I need not remind the inspector that if found to be true, striking a deal of any kind with a witness would be considered a gross case of malfeasance?
Malfeasance? Or malfeasance? I don't know how to pronounce it. So in other words, everyone here is guilty of something. Defending a murderer, tampering with a crime scene, perjury. Well,
Objection!
It's becoming clear that jumping in with the accusations is this nice long drink of water. Student specialty. Speaking of which, I need some water. I need water in my throat. With the stakes so high, the prosecution is not prepared to listen to baseless charges. It is incumbent on the defense now to present evidence in support of this diabolical claim. Evidence? Just what are you proposing that the inspector demanded of the witness in return? The court must see proof of this alleged deal. If Inspector Gregson really did strike a deal with Mr. Graydon, then logically, there's only one thing he could have asked for. That has to be it. No, do you think it could be... Yep. It's the missing link that would join all the dots together in this puzzle.
I must press you for an answer, Counsel. What evidence explains the nature of this alleged deal?
Okay, I'm pretty sure it's the, maybe the second disc that I don't have. Probably the wrong item, but it has to be this, right? Also, hold on a sec. Let me take care of something really quick. Okay. Please?
Take that!
Okay. Inspector Gregson. Besides this murder, is it not true that you've been working on another very important case? What? Is it possible that this other top secret case is what's alluded to in this newspaper article? The classified secrets being leaked overseas from the Ministry of Justice.
How the bleeding Nora could you...
We discovered during the course of this trial the music box deposited at Windibanks by Magnus McGilded. A special music box designed to play 2 discs at once. It would seem very likely now that encoded on the pair of discs that were in McGilded's possession
are the leaked classified secrets.
So I put it to you, Inspector, that in order to recover the second of the discs containing those secrets, you covertly made a deal with Mr. Graydon in which you exchanged the disc for details of the case.
You little... Og!
On the day of the incident, when we met you at Windibanks, you said this.
I'll be taking out whatever it is, and Mr. McGilded's down to the yard. Thank you very much. So hand it over. No, don't give it to him. It's mine, that is. It's mine.
I'm sorry, miss, but anything belonging to McGilded has to be taken in as evidence now. Scotland Yard already knew at the time, isn't that right? That Magnus McGilded was involved in the stealing of government secrets. My orders were recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry, and do it on the QT, strictly hush-hush. That explains why, when I presented this disc as evidence to the court, you objected so heavily, I presume. I'm holding the disc right now because you knew that it contained highly confidential information.
Blimey, not likely! I mean, I wasn't that sure myself.
I realized that was a possibility, that's all.
Inspector, surely you're not saying that in order to acquire the second of these music box discs, you did reveal confidential details of the crime scene to the witness? To aid and abet this man in giving false testimony?
There's no other way that Graydon could have known of the existence of the peephole. It's the only explanation. A deal was struck between these 2 men.
Yeah!
Objection!
If, and I stress if, this sobering assertion turns out to be founded in truth, it would mean that the second disc is, as we speak, in this very courtroom.
Quick, search his pockets!
Wait, what? In this courtroom? How could you possibly make a claim like that? How else would they make that deal, dude? Because Inspector Gregson is a Scotland Yard detective.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean, eh?
As a seasoned policeman, the inspector would have approached this alleged deal with caution. Certainly he would not have accepted a gentleman's agreement in this matter. No, he would have insisted on having the article agreed upon in the palm of his hand.
Good gracious, then you mean to say... Inspector Gregson already has the item in question in his possession?
Oh. I thought they were gonna say that it was in Graydon's pocket.
Yes, the second disc on his person?
Now you're getting it. The defense demands that the inspector is searched at once.
Definitely. They could only have struck a deal with each other when Jenny was testifying before. And Gregsy hasn't moved from the witness stand since.
My lord, please. Order an examination of his personal effects immediately.
Well, Inspector?
Why are you so calm?
This young lad wants to tone down his imagination. He's insulting me in my profession quite enough.
Nanny?
However, if it'll put this matter to bed and dispel any doubts about my involvement, I'll happily submit to a body search.
He's agreeing to it?
I presume you're aware of the precipice on which you now teeter, my learned student friend. You've made a most serious allegation against Scotland Yard here. If, following the search of the inspector's personal effects, no disc is found, you'll be deemed unfit for court service. This trial will end, and my country's government will formally demand of yours that you are severely reprimanded.
Indeed, to have a visiting student make such defamatory remarks about our country's most senior police force.
Are you all just bootlickers?
It's not something Her Majesty's government will be able to overlook.
You're just threatening Runo because you're scared.
The accusation is beyond serious. You must be prepared for grave consequences.
It's true.
I can't imagine Gregson would have accepted a gentleman's agreement for something so critical. The disc must have physically changed hands, which means the inspector should have it. Okay. Sorry, here's what I'm thinking. They're gonna search the inspector. Turns out he doesn't have it. Then it's... Wait a minute. Graydon still has the disc. Quick, search him, and he has it. Somehow, something doesn't feel quite right here.
Very well, Counsel. You know the implications, so let me ask you one final time.
Yes, my lord.
Do you still persist in formally requesting a search of the inspector's personal effects?
Yeah, search him, search someone else. Withdraw the...
Okay.
Yes, the defense formally demands the search be conducted.
Well,
Don't say you were warned. Your typical... kneecaps. Stubbornness may well land you in hot water this time. Perhaps the lesson will do you some good.
Fair enough. I've got nothing to hide.
very well then. Bailiff, conduct a search of the inspector's personal...
Thank you. The defense demands a search, but not of Inspector Gregson. Huh?
Now what's all this? I'm the one you're accusing, aren't I? I thought you were the one to search me.
No, Inspector, not you. Somebody else.
What's the meaning of all this, eh? What's the last, have you, sunshine? The court shouldn't have to put up with this nonsense. You're being completely irrational.
Who?
Iris! Bruno's doing what you all told him to do and having the courage of his convictions. So you should respect that and listen to what he has to say in good faith. Because that's the British way. And I'll shoot anyone who disagrees.
Well said, young lady. Indeed, this court is in awe of the defense counsel's conviction and eagerly awaits his next words.
You what? Now don't be hasty, my lord.
I'm not mistaken about the things I've seen in court today. I'm fairly sure that I know who has that disc at the moment. There's only one person it can be. Him!
Take that!
Mr. Ashley Graydon, my lord. The defense demands that he be searched at once.
Very well. I presume you will not protest, Mr. Graydon.
Au contraire. Wait, he doesn't have it? So a brief body search was carried out by the court bailiff. A few short minutes later, it was revealed that Mr. Graydon had... What? Why? It has to be... Okay, fine!
That!
Also, case between a person decay. Wait,
Objection!
did I pick the right person? I picked Tobias Gregson, didn't I? Ow. Gregson doesn't have the disc at the moment. The question is, where could he have hidden it? Trouble is, he's been in the witness stand the entire time. Not an easy situation in which to go about hiding anything. There's honestly only one place he could possibly have hidden it then. This is kind of a far out guess. Maybe?
Take that!
That's my lord, Mr. Nash Skulkin. Well, wait, I'm right? I'd never. Eh? My? Him? Very well done. Bailiff. Restrain the witness and conduct a thorough search of his personal effects. Please, my lord. Is that an admission of guilt? Inspector? Scotland Yard, I'm subject to the search.
Objection!
Fortunately for you, Inspector, your objections carry no weight here. Eh? In this courtroom, only the prosecution and the defense have the authority to object.
For Lord my sakes!
I have no idea what forces are in play that might influence your actions. But personally, I have no intention of obstructing the course of this trial.
Ah! Bailiff, carry out the search!
Oh, it was when he was choking him out! But... I don't get it. Like, if the disc has such important information, why would you give it to, like, Skulkin? Unless they already know.
Now hold on a mo. I don't know nothing. Nothing about no disc. Got it. Ah! Here, my lord, in the witness's pocket. I found this.
Good lord, Dutch! Another music box disc.
I don't know nothing about it. Nothing.
Wait. Okay, either Graydon slipped it to Gregson, then Gregson slipped it to Skulkin without his knowing, or Skulkin had it this entire time. That is the second music box disc left behind by Magnus McGilded.
Wham!
Is it not, Inspector Gregson?
What, Mr. Skulkin, what do you have to say for yourself?
Gordon Bennett!
I almost thought that said Gordon Ramsay.
I mean, just Gordon Flaming Bennett! I swear I didn't know nothing about that disc! Honest to God!
Even his brother's like, holy shit, dude.
Counsel, would you please explain what exactly is going on here? The alleged deal that was struck between this witness and this detective, no?
Without question, my lord.
And for pity's sake, why on earth was this man in possession of a disc that the inspector traded for information?
Inspector Gregson is a shrewd, calculating man who rarely loses his composure. But at one particular point in this trial, he exhibited some unusual behavior for a brief moment.
He started choking out the other guy!
I don't recall. What unusual behavior?
It was... yes, during my cross-examination of Mr. Graydon. Mr. Graydon, when you left a pawnbrokery that night, was it by any chance with the second disc in your jacket pocket? I admit to nothing of the sort. While Mr. Graydon answered my question, the inspector appeared to have grabbed Nash Skulkin by his coat and was shaking him violently.
Yeah, he did it all! Tommy Dog was gonna fall off clean, I did! I was wishing I'd been born as me brother, I was!
What exactly happened to make the detective attack you like that?
I ain't got a clue! He just suddenly turned and grabbed me whistle like that and started shaking me. What a blazes didn't you mention the third gun when we got you down at the station? That's what he said. Held it right out down my ear hole, he did. Me ain't still throbbing now.
The way the detective behaved then was extremely out of character. But looking back now, it must have been then that he did it. That was the opportunity Inspector Gregson created for himself, in order to hide the disc.
Well, bless my wing! It's fallen off my head! You heard it?
Yeah.
I'm afraid I fail to comprehend the motive here.
I can't figure it out either.
The detective had acquired the disc he was after. Why on earth would he proceed to hide it in another man's pocket? It's a court of law. He could have submitted the item as evidence.
It would appear, my lord, that the inspector was not at liberty to do that.
Why ever not?
As the man himself revealed earlier, his current assignment has some special conditions. My orders were recover the medium used to convey the secrets leaked from the ministry, and do it on the QT. Strictly hush-hush.
Hush-hush? A top-secret assignment, is it?
Wait, so was his plan to give the, like, secretly hide the disc in Skulkin's pocket, and then after, supposedly after the trial, arrest Skulkin and get the disc back? As far as we're aware, the information stolen comes from confidential government communications. It would seem that if the informant were to be information would be to be revealed in court as evidence, it would be problematic. Does that sum up the situation, Inspector? I'm operating under direct orders from the Ministry. I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to answer that question. So, realizing there was a chance that you may be searched here in court, you took steps to hide the disc you had acquired from the witness. Oh! Okay, so he anticipated a body search. What does that mean? He only pretended to attack Mr. Skulkin in order to get close enough to him. To slip his second disc into his pocket.
So it was all a pretense?
We're on to you, buddy. And you.
Well now, Inspector Gregson. And you, Mr. Graydon. Are you prepared to admit to the accusation made against you in this alleged jail?
Admit to it? Yours truly, please. How long is this case, Mr. Graydon? Clearly our Eastern visitor has an uncommonly active imagination. However, there's no proof that I passed that disc to the inspector.
Objection!
Get that stick out of my face!
But then, how do you explain the reason why you knew about the peephole? I'm under no obligation to explain. You're in court! Yes, I lied to my testimony. That's perjury! That I admit, so sentence me accordingly. But that is all I admit. Murder, leaking government secrets, striking a deal with a detective. All of it is this young Eastern man's fantasy. I have no idea what any of this is about. You! How long is this? It's almost 2 in the morning! Well, what about you then, Mr. Crichton? Do you admit to making a deal with Mr. Graydon in order to acquire the disc? Ladies and gents of the jury, as a Scotland Yard inspector, I will declare this and nothing more. I am acting in the best interest of the country. Whatever I've done has been in the name of justice. So, as members of the public of this fine country, I'd like to think that justice will be your god. Oh, you son of a bitch. It's like, wait, I'm a cop! Yo, you like cops, right? This is quite a quandary indeed. Rarely have I encountered such extraordinary tumultuousness in the conclusion of a trial. Nevertheless, in the absence of any further evidence to be presented, I believe it is time that we put the matter to the jury for their final leanings. What? God. These freaking people. Well now, as a fellow servant of the Queen and country, I must say I sympathize with the old inspector. Yes, he is a dependable man, I'm quite sure. In service, one becomes a good judge of character. Have you never heard of abuse of power?
Weep. Even crossing your eyes doesn't help when it comes to looking at this case. It's all blurred to me.
Well, as a fellow professional, I like to put my faith in the detective, really.
Graydon is highly skilled operator. Stop. Currently in presence of idol. Stop. Stop looking at everything with fangirl glasses.
Detective has very much trust in eyes. More than this, I cannot say.
God damn it. They declare a decision now. Is Ginny gonna be found guilty? If I don't manage to produce some definitive evidence right now, we're fucked! Either some proof that Graydon killed Mr. Windibank, or stole the government secrets, or some evidence to force Gregson into admitting that he struck a deal with a witness.
Well then, counsel, I think it's time I imposed on the jurors to declare their final No! No! No!
If I let the judge call on the jurors to announce their leanings, Gino will be found guilty. So there's no choice then, Runo. I have to throw some more evidence at them. With my gun. This is it now. It all comes down to this. Help! I think I have to go with Graydon, because this whole making a deal right here and now, I don't have much physical evidence. Mr. Graydon, there is one final piece of evidence I would like you to see. You misguided fool. Whatever you intend to show me now, you'll be wasting your time. I have nothing left to lose. Except my career. I assure you I will admit to nothing. My last chance, it looks like I'm gonna have to force his hand here. Wait. Oh, I thought I was presenting evidence of what... Like, evidence of him killing Windibank, not this. like it's either the music box disc or the actual box. The problem is, like, I don't know which one.
Take that!
Is that Mr. McGilda's music disc?
Yes, the first disc of 2, which has already been placed in Mr. McGilda's special music box ready to play. I think perhaps now would be a good time to listen to the sound produced by the music box again. With both discs. Only this time. With the second one we just discovered set in place as well.
Goodness, this disc, Council.
No. Wait, I can't let you do that.
Why not?
Because, well, because it's got nothing to do with this case. That's why.
Objection!
Didn't we just establish? Not true, Inspector. The defense has already proposed that the sounds heard by the court earlier from this music box are part of a Morse code message. We know that Morse code comprises of 2 distinct tones. The defense believes that the second disc contains the second tone needed to complete the message. And now we have a chance to confirm that theory.
For crying out loud, Sunshine, we're talking about state secrets here. We got letting the whole courtroom hear confidential information like that. It's treason.
And do you admit the charge? In order to protect those state secrets, you engaged in unlawful dealings with a witness?
You're mad.
Come on, man. Do you want to put this? Do you want to make everyone here a traitor, or do you just want to admit it? Also, like, how funny would it be if we actually played the 2 disc, and the secret is like something along the lines of the Ministry of Justice. Everyone is allergic to cats.
You'll be making an enemy of the entire British government, you idiot.
Objection!
You want to try me? Let's not forget, Inspector, that you, a Scotland Yard officer, leaked confidential case details to a witness. That you continue to lie to the court, and all because by fair means or foul, you're determined to do your duty. Well, by fair means or foul, I'm prepared to do mine. Don't you dare! I will stop at nothing to protect my client. I don't care who I make an enemy of. I'll even make this wine bottle a traitor of the country. My lord, if you please. The court must hear the sounds made by that music box.
Come on, Van Zakes, for Pete's sake, stop him.
Objection!
Leg.
Inspector, you should know my methods by now. I'm a prosecutor. I'm no Scotland Yard puppet. Eat my feet! In this courtroom, my duty is to the law. So let me propose a toast to uncovering the truth. By fair means or foul.
No.
Very well then, the defense's stance here and that of the prosecution have been made very clear. Therefore, in accordance with the defense's request, the court will now listen as this music box is set in operation once more. This time with the second disc in place and both discs playing simultaneously.
Oh, listen to that. It's unmistakable now. It's Morse code. I don't know who's talking.
All right, I admit it. Whatever you want. But for the love of God, shut that blooming box up.
Let me ask you again then, Inspector Gregson. Did you or did you not strike a deal with the witness next to you in the stand, Mr. Ashley Graydon?
Specifically, did you furnish the witness with confidential case details in exchange for this music box disc? Did you reveal the existence of the peephole in the pawnbroker storeroom, Inspector?
I did. Stop! What are you doing, man? It's all exactly like the young Eastern lawyer said. When the trial resumed after the recess, and we were studying the stand together, that's when he approached me with the deal. Shut up, you imbecile! Shut up! Psst, you there? You're the detective who turned up at the pawnbroker the other day, aren't you? I may have something you're looking for, Inspector. With me at this very moment. So how about I try it? I'll suggest you accept, or information that may make certain individuals uncomfortable will soon become very public indeed. I couldn't let that information become public knowledge, not under any circumstances. So I accepted the man's proposal and told him details about the case that should have put him in the clear. The people on the storeroom door and the bloodstains on the overcoat. By giving false testimony, this witness intended to have the defendant wrongly accused of murder. Inspector, you knew that. Yet you still revealed those details to facilitate the witness's perjury. I did. But then it turned out the people had only been made that night, after the incident took place. Scotland Yard wasn't aware of that, if I'm perfectly honest. Well, Mr. Graydon, what do you have to say for yourself? There's nothing and no one left for you to hide behind. You struck a deal with the inspector in order to escape conviction of a very serious crime. Namely this. You are the third intruder who broke into the pawnbroker on the night in question. And you perpetrated the murder of the proprietor, Mr. Pop Winterbank. You... Whoa! What's oh shit! Ah! Oh god! What? No. Oh god! What is happening?
Bailiff! Restrain the man! At once!
Is he holding him hostage? That's it then. It's all over. Please, it's 2 a.m. I despised my life growing up. Those slums are vile places. I was cursed from birth, born into poverty, the son of a penniless artisan. My parents did nothing but quarrel all day long. What little money they had was never spent on me. So I set about studying, to better myself, to one day escape from that hellhole.
And you eventually became a communications officer. I admire your determination.
But then you decided to try to sell government secrets? Why? Isn't it obvious? Because I wanted money. Even now, years later, the nightmares of my life in the slums wake me up in the small hours. I wanted to drown them out, with more money than anyone who lived in that squalor could ever imagine. And one day, I met him. Mr. Magnus McGilded. Oh no, I can't do Irish accents. You're the fiend with a queer talent, you so yard. I've money to throw your way if you're interested. I don't even know if I'm doing Irish accent properly. All you need to do is go along with me little plan now. I was to steal the ministry's telegraphic message logs, and McGilded would buy them for a handsome sum. As I was responsible for inspections of the ministry's communications office, it was a simple enough task. The lure of the devil's offerings. How easy it is to succumb.
But you surely have realized the seriousness of the crime you're committing.
Sorry, I just noticed, I'm starting to wonder if the little striped, like the purple stripes on his shirt, if they're supposed to be a little nod to his homeless past. Because I vaguely remember, I think Gina had something like it. For that reason, I took great lengths to ensure that my actions were untraceable. By using the music box. My father was a brickmaker. Then my mother divorced him when I was still a child. Yes, Mr. Mason Milverton. That's right. He was very skilled with his hands. He once been a music box maker's apprentice. I imagined his skills would be sufficient to create a machine that would generate Morse code. So I sought out my father again, to employ his services. It It was the first time I'd seen him since I left the slums 10 years earlier.
Look at you, Ashley. What a fine gent you've become, eh?
He was a different man to the one in my memory. A thin, frail old man.
I mean, it'd been decades.
Like decades plural. Poverty had never broken him. Never corrupted him like it had me. I was sure that he wouldn't help me if I had told him the real reason. So I made up a story. I've got some work for you, Father. I need some music box discs made.
Music box discs, eh?
A musician friend of mine has written some music he wants to sell to the public. I've brought the score with me. There are two, actually.
I'd be delighted, son. It's been 20 years since I did any work like this, though. Fetch my tools, would you? They're in the loft.
That's how I had him make the two discs. Thereby splitting the information in two. You were taking considerable precautions indeed. It was to protect myself as much as anything. I keep expecting him to look like whenever he lifts up his head, he just cries. It meant that I could deal with McGilded in two separate transactions. The first involved the first of the two discs, and the music box for playing them. I exchanged them with McGilded for 10 guineas. Each? Then, on receipt of the second disc, he would pay 1,000.
That's a lot.
So, what happened on the omnibus 2 months ago? Was the second part of the deal? The exchange of the second disc? Yes. I've sold the man information that way a number of times already, but it seems he became reluctant to part with his money.
Well, that doesn't quite make sense, Mr. Graydon. Well, why was it on the omnibus 2 months ago? Your father, Mr. Milverton, was the one dealing with Mr. McGilded, not yourself.
When I received this 1,000 guineas after my first completed dealings with McGilded, I decided to give 200 to my father for his troubles. But my father realized something was amiss. In time, he worked out that I must be involved in something dubious. And when he did, he said to me,
Next time there's an exchange, you'll let your old man do it, understand? Otherwise, I won't take your money anymore.
That was my father's way of dealing with it, I suppose. Climb into the omnibus, hand over the second disc, and take the money from the Gilded. That's it. He had no idea what was actually on the discs I asked him to make. He never knew. Just like I'll never know why everything went so horribly wrong that night. All I know is that the disc was taken from him, and he never returned home. It was only then that I found out what sort of a monster McGilded really was. Are you admitting to setting him on fire? So after 10 years of not once uttering it, I swore on my father's name.
Whee!
To exact revenge. Revenge? As anyone with even the remotest knowledge of the man will no doubt be able to imagine, McGilded brought all this wealth and influence to bear in the most despicable of ways. Glass number 25! To crush any semblance of justice in his trial. At this point I've lost count of all the wine glasses he's broken. Crime scene was tampered with, evidence was fixed, and witnesses were bribed. That trial 2 months ago was a farce from start to finish. My feet had barely touched British soil back then. Holy shit, McGilded planned it all. I looked at that hornet's nest completely unaware of the sinister background to it all. I made plenty of money out of my dealings with McGilded back then, so I spared nothing in my arrangements 2 months ago. I knew exactly who to hire. Wait. You paid? If you're willing to pay the price, there are people in this city willing to do anything you ask. McGilded himself had shown me that. Are you saying... I think you have the picture now. After he twisted everything in his favor in this courtroom to ensure that he walked free, I took matters into my own hands and delivered the justice that monster deserved. That tragic accident following the trial here 2 months ago was planned and executed by yours truly. McGilden's death that day was caused by him.
Everything is ready, sir, if you'd like to follow me into this courtroom.
Oh, he had enough money. He's like, hey, dude, bring this guy in and I'll give you money. I hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule.
Well, I'll be making my tracks now.
It is time for the inspection. They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. So that policeman who came to tell McGill he could examine the omnibus again. Wait. Okay, either that guy was paid, or that was him. That was Graydon in disguise. That's right, an imposter, hired by me. McGilded used his wealth to manipulate the trial. He paid people to adulterate the omnibus with all manner of false evidence. He threatened witnesses to lie in their testimony. So I gave the man a taste of his own medicine. Once the omnibus was doused in paraffin, one of my sham policemen ushered McGilded inside and sent him on a one-way journey to hell. You don't have your hat anymore. An eye for an eye. That's how I avenged my father's death.
A spine-chilling account indeed.
But that wasn't the end of it for me. There was a loose end, you see. The discs. Yes, I should think it's obvious. The second disc, which my father had taken to exchange with McGilded.
Ah, yes. There was indeed no mention of it in the man's trial 2 months ago. Clearly because I've been removed from the scene of the crime.
When I realized it was missing, I remembered something. Something from the first time I dealt with McGilded. This is the first of the 2 discs, and the music box you need to play them.
Well, look at that now.
What an ingenious little invention. So then, as promised, 10 guineas for you, young man. What's this? Winterbank's pawnbrokery? Aye, 'tis a pawnbroker's ticket, so it is. You can use it to redeem an article I deposited there for you. There's no need to give it a name. Just hand over the ticket and tell the fiend the watchword. I'll put a jewel in pawn for you. It'll fetch a good 10 guineas if you sell it, so it will. I've never heard of a pawnbrokery being used in quite that way before. Have you not, Mr. Graydon? London's pawnbrokeries are very useful places, you know. Each one is like an extremely secured vault. So I knew that if he'd taken steps to hide the disc, it would be in that pawnbrokery somewhere. And on that night he killed my father, he must have entrusted the ticket to someone. Yeah, to Gina. I remember now that when we first met you at Winterbanks that afternoon 2 days ago, you had a description of Miss Lestrade written down. How'd you know who you were looking for? From the trial. That pickpocket's testimony was clearly peculiar. Anyone could see that. I realized immediately that she was another of McGilded's pawns, that he must have threatened her somehow. I was fairly convinced it would be her who had the ticket, so I started to make some inquiries. I had a strong suspicion the girl would come out of the woodwork on the redemption deadline. Yep, he was absolutely right. And yes, sure enough, she did. All I needed to do was wait until the girl went to Winterbanks to redeem the articles. But unfortunately, she redeemed only McGilded's overcoat and the one disc that was in its pocket. The all-important music box with the second disc inside was missing. Because it had already been forfeited 2 days earlier. But I was unaware of that fact. Had I not been, I could have avoided my nighttime excursion.
You were there the whole time?
Meanwhile, as our investigation into the stolen government secrets was progressing, we picked up on the fact that McGill was involved. You recovered fast! I also thought, like, Inspector 1, you recovered fast, and 2, where'd you come from? My orders were to recover the stolen information as quickly as possible. So we started gathering the fella's possessions and examining whatever we could lay our hands on. We had a full-scale investigation going on at the yard, but we had to keep it as quiet as we could. Then, when the inspector here took the disc from me in the pawnbrokery that day, I became nervous. I was sure the music box and the second disc were still there in the shop somewhere. So I knew that it was a race against time. I had to find those articles before the police did. So that's what prompted you to break into that place that same night. With the help of your old friends, the Skulkin brothers.
What, no surprise appearance from them?
What happened that night in the pawnbrokery? I can only describe as a nightmare. While Nash and Ringo was searching the counter, I'd located the music box I sold to McGilded on the shelves of forfeited articles. And the second disc was inside. Yes, I slipped into my pocket with a very deep sigh of relief. But then, something entirely unexpected happened.
What are you doing in my shop?
A gunshot rang out in the shop, and I felt a sharp pain in my left arm. The broker fired his gun, and the bullet pierced your limb. Yes, exactly. But unfortunately, I decided to bring my own gun with me that night, just in case. Before I knew what was happening, I'd fired back. The man had already turned to flee. I hadn't intended to fire in his direction, much less kill him. But unfortunately for both of us, the bullet hit home. It struck him in the middle of his back as he fled through the storeroom door for refuge.
A sorry tale.
It all took place in the blink of an eye. I don't imagine Nash and Ringo even realized what had happened at first. I was terrified, so I fled. And that's the whole story. That's everything that happened at Winterbanks on that wretched night.
So, not guilty, right?
Earlier, you called McGilded a monster. A man who used his wealth and influence to distort the facts and escape justice for the crime of murder. What tragic irony. For what you have done is exactly the same. You've become the very monster you saw and despised so deeply in McGilded. Yes, I think I have.
Well, this has been a long and exhausting trial.
I agree.
However, it would seem that at last we have arrived at the truth. Inspector Gretchen, what of Mr. Ashley Graydon?
He's been restrained, my lord, and is being escorted to the yard. He'll be charged with the murder of Mr. Winterbank, and the stealing of government secrets.
Very good. And you, Inspector? Regrettably, you will have to face charges yourself.
Yes, my lord, of course. It transpires that you were complicit in helping a criminal escape justice. That fact remains, whether or not you were doing so in the line of duty. The crime is a serious one, Inspector, and inexcusable.
Now to the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Yeah?
It is time for the final adjudication. Is the jury ready, Mr. Foreman?
If they all say guilty, I swear to God.
Yes, sir. Garrett Up Squadron standing by, sir. This is really it now.
The last push, the final call, the finishing whistle. My men are ready to deliver their verdict.
Thank you, Mr. Foreman. Very well, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. You will now declare your final decisions to the court.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Honestly, part of me was half expecting one of them to yell guilty, and it's like, we have to do this again? Haha, that's the stuff! I'm off the hook! What about the whole perjury thing? Finally, Runo, you finally managed to do it! Finally is the word. I really wasn't sure we'd come out on top for a while there. Susie was right. You're the best lawyer in the world!
Mr. Strahd, I am not finished with you yet.
Eh? What? What are you looking at me like that for?
Before you start enjoying your freedom, there are certain other crimes to consider, Eh? 2 months ago in my courtroom, no less, you gave false testimony, did you not? And in relation to the trial today, not only did you unlawfully enter Mr. Winterbank's pawnbrokery, you also attempted to abscond with Mr. McGillicud's property, it seems.
Eh? I've never done nothing of the sort! Of course not. It's not like you were gleefully wearing Mr. Gillick's coat in your cell yesterday or anything.
Aw, and just when I was getting excited about throwing a party for Jenny this evening.
And turning our attention to the defense. Determining that, when played together, the music box disc contained a message in Morse code was... Well, it was certainly a most unexpected revelation, Counsel.
We're all traitors of the country now. Quite so, my lord. The prosecution was caught entirely off guard. In fact, I think we should applaud my learned friend's courage here today. I propose a toast to demanding that the government's secrets be disseminated before the entire courtroom. Very sorry about that. It was the only way I could get Inspector Gregson to admit to what he did. If I might say something on that point. Juror number 5. Yay!
It's, I thought the sounds produced by the music box before. I do wonder if that was really Morse code after all.
What do you mean?
Oh, well, it's just that I'm really rather fanatical when it comes to Morse code, you see. So much so that the whole world seems to be covered in dots and dashes to me, in fact.
Goodness, madam, an unhealthy level of obsession, one feels.
But I must say that in my opinion, the sounds produced by those 2 discs were nothing more than a meaningless series of 2 different tones.
Wait, can that really be? It wasn't Morse code after all? Maybe we put the discs in wrong? Eep! My lord, the defense would like to listen to the music box again. Are you off your nut? How many times do I have to tell you? Those discs contain ministerial secrets, sunshine. This courtroom is not an appropriate forum to discuss the nature of the government communications. We know McGill did conspire to trade national secrets with our enemies, secrets acquired from Mr. Graydon. Now that the man has admitted to his crimes, we have no need to pursue the matter further. But it's really gonna bother me.
Mr. Strahd?
Yeah, my lord.
That which you have seen today here in this courtroom has been extremely disturbing.
Falsified evidence, intimidation, perjury, a grim catalogue of depravity.
An appalling experience to befall any child.
Come on, it ain't nothing I don't see most days in the back slums.
I beg your pardon?
If you're weak, you pay for it. That's just how life goes. Gina. But look, I reckon I've worked something out today. The world ain't fair, but if you want it to change, you've got to start at home. You've got to change how you are yourself.
Well, that's a very laudable lesson, I would say. I really look forward to the born-again Mr. Strahd never gracing my courtroom with her presence again. Now, with regard to the murder of Mr. Pop Winterbank, proprietor of a pawnbrokery business on Baker Street, I hereby declare the defendant, Miss Gina Lestrade.
Yay! Finally, fireworks that were actually earned. Well, I guess technically another set of fireworks that were earned.
That is all. Court is adjourned.
Oh god, my throat hurts. My nose. Yeah. What's happening? On a personal note, I must say you've surprised me, my Far Eastern friend. Oh! Despite being not guilty, you saw through the pretense to the malice that festered within that Englishman. And at the same time, saw through the grime to the surprising heart of your English client. You have a curious talent for judging character, especially considering our very different cultures. I don't think there's anything curious about it. Whether we're from the Empire of Great Britain, or the Empire of Japan, or the Empire of Neptune, we're all human beings. We're not so very different from on the inside. You know, I took this case for one very simple reason. To lock swords with you once again here in the courtroom. You did? Racist swords? When I encountered you for the first time 2 months ago, it reminded me of toasting friendship and trust with another... What? Who is this other person? Only to find your trust betrayed? Through you, I hope to look into the eyes of the man I once knew, and try to understand. You mentioned something similar earlier today, about total betrayal at the hands of the Japanese. What happened exactly? Well, you may ask. And one day, when the time comes, you will learn the answer, whether you like it or not. Why not today? Was it Kazuma? Or a descendant? Or one of Kazuma's relatives? Alright, then I'll wait for that day if I must. Coming to be known as the Reaper of the Bailey, in my retirement from service 5 years ago, it gives me cause to wonder if our meeting has some deeper purpose. Class number 27! So farewell, my learned... Nice to meet you, fellow, until we meet again. Please. Soon it's 2:30 in the morning. Also, dang, that was one long trial. It's done. It's over at last. No more. But where's Iris disappeared to? I think she's trying to find Wagahai. Congratulations, Gina. I knew it all along. I knew you were innocent. Well, you did what you said, Mr. Nara Odo. You believed in me, right up to the end. You're as odd as your name. What's odd about it? I told you I had faith in you, didn't I? No one ever asked before, see? Kept a promise, I mean. Properly. That's awful. I'll figure something out today. All my life, growing up in the slums, I've never trusted no one. But that's just because I've been scared of being stabbed in the back. I mean, the more you trust someone, the more it hurts when they let you down. Yeah, I think I can understand that. After all, I had a taste of it in that trial 2 months ago. I chose to trust someone and paid for it. That betrayal left a big scar. You know though, Gina, I worked something out quite recently too. Trusting in someone else is really an exercise in learning to trust yourself. And when your gut tells you it's the right thing to do and your trust is rewarded, there's no better feeling in the world. I think I have you to thank for reminding me of that valuable lesson. Oh, well, if you say so. Don't make a fat lot of sense to me, though. I'm trying to say that putting my faith in you, Gina, has been a real pleasure. For crying out loud, pack it in! Oh yeah, she's not good with touchy-feely stuff, or mushy-gushy stuff. But I suppose I sort of feel the same way. I mean, sometimes trusting someone else is, you know, alright. Thanks. This is the way I see it, Ryunosuke. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith is in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. After this experience, I'm starting to feel like I understand what you mean. Kazuma, am I living up to your expectations? Am I turning out to be the lawyer you believed I could be? What are we looking at? He's in cosplay again! But what the deuce does a man have to do to be noticed around here, my dear fellow? You! It's too late for that voice now, Mr. Naruto. I've been standing here patiently in the corner of the room for an eternity. Ah, yes, it was me all along! I would have said when you finally noticed me. I imagine the other bailiff is like, what the fuck is happening? But you people with your incessant blabbing! No, Mr. Sholmes! Ah, yes, it was me all along! You see? I'd assumed you'd been taken back to the hospital, to be honest. Indeed I was, but I managed to escape again! Go back! I'm gonna be aware of one or two foibles of the doctor who was tended to me. Merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily issued me with a leave of absence. How very above board. Enough of my adventures. That was a fine victory, Mr. Naruto. Your tireless efforts just rewarded it, I feel. Congratulations are in order. As a close friend, I tip my hat at you. Oh, thank you. Some great detective you are. Great at being cold as ice, maybe. Have I irked you in some way, Miss Lestrade? While you've been having a snooze in your nice soft bed, some of us have been fighting for our lives. Ah, well, that bullet did cause me to lose a substantial amount of blood, it's true. So I have indeed been feeling somewhat cold. Not perhaps cold as ice, but... well, have a fail. Want us to poke you? Could you take your hands off my neck, please? Also, of all places, why the neck? And in some way, I suppose, congratulations are in order for you too, Miss Lestrade. What's that supposed to mean? Why so half-hearted? Well, naturally, it is my intention to alarm you, but... an acquittal in a trial with that particular prosecutor is perhaps a little precarious. Well done, Mr. Sholmes. Not alarming in the slightest. Ow. The Reaper, you mean? Of course, anyone who's found not guilty in a trial where he was working on winds up dead anyways. Say it? The very point I was trying to make. As exemplified by the fate of Mr. McGilded, in fact. Ah, but of course, I pay no attention to such irrational drivel myself. Yeah, well, it don't bother me. Oh, really? Of course not. The way I say it, the Reaper's a bit like him upstairs. Him upstairs? You mean God? Yeah, him upstairs knowing what's what, right? He knows what people are like on the inside. He won't have got the wrong end of the stick. There are some cows like that bog trotter, what are rotten to the core. At the end of the day, him upstairs makes sure they get what they deserve. I guess that's one way of looking at it. Divine justice is one thing, though. The Reaper taking matters into his own hands and claiming lives is another. Well, it ain't like the McGildids of this world, so I ain't scared. I got principles, see? A trait in you which is to be admired, Miss Lestrade. Oi, just give it a rest, alright? As I was saying, congratulations are in order. The news of your acquittal was very welcome news to me indeed. Let me express my heartfelt congratulations, Gina. Well, there you are, Ellie! How long have you been here?
Did you find the cat? Honestly, I went to the main entrance especially to meet you there.
Ah, Iris, my dear, I do apologize. But wait until I tell you what happened. This pair made utter fools of themselves.
What happened?
As you know, I have a penchant for disguise. I was hiding in this room dressed as a bailiff. But these dolts didn't notice my presence at all. They had no idea. Can you imagine, Iris? Would you credit it?
Not sure, really.
I beg your pardon?
I'm sorry, Ellie, but you just don't have the weighty presence you seem to think you have. In fact, you really ought to be careful about that. It's going to land you in trouble one day.
It already did, in a way. I'll be careful. Ouch!
Anyway, it's such a shame. I was so hoping to throw a party for Ginny tonight. But you won't be able to come, will you?
Don't look like I'm gonna be going nowhere for a while.
You are the judge's pal. I got stuff to make amends for, apparently. All them offenses. Jail time? Community service? What was it again? Breaking and entering? Taking the bug trotter's stuff? Stuff what was in log? Blah blah blah.
Yeah, I think you'll find that basically being a pickpocket is the main offense.
But driving ain't an offense. It's a job, ain't it?
I don't think so.
Still, it has got me thinking all this. Maybe I should start looking for another line of work. I mean, you didn't start off as a lawyer, did you, Otto?
Well, no, but I was never a pickpocket.
Well, anyway, I reckon I can make a change. I'm gonna do something for all them lot like me from the slums. Something that'll make a difference for them. That's a wonderful idea, Ginny. I'm sure you can do it. Homeless shelter? Hehe. What is it? Oh. Nothing.
Oh. The further carriage has arrived, ma'am. Come with me to the rear gate at once.
Right. Well, looks like I'm off then.
Yes. Goodbye, Gina. And good luck. Otto? Yes?
Oh! What are you doing?
Don't shoot me! Ah! What was that for?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say, so...
Have a gun! Ah, indeed. Perhaps the situation calls for a phrase hitherto missing from your vocabulary, Miss Lestrade. On occasions such as this, I would recommend a simple thank you.
Oh. Oh yes, it's good advice, Ginny.
Right, I say, well...
Oh. Thanks, Otto. Oh. She's so precious. Thank you for everything what you've done, for believing in me.
Not at all. In fact, that should be my line. Thank you, Gina. Well, there she goes. I wonder if I'll ever see her again. There's 5 more cases, so maybe. Well, well, quite the indomitable pick purse.
Oh, I nearly forgot. I've bought a paper outside. It's a special edition, and this trial is all over the front page already. Pickpockets, innocence proven. Isn't it wonderful?
You should have shown it to Gina, Iris. She would have been thrilled.
Oh no, how silly of me. Ah, but anyway, would you like the good news or the bad news?
Not again.
Well, what do you say, Bruno? Eddie?
As usual, I think I'd rather get the bad news out of the way first. Absolutely not! I've no intention of listening to anything but good news.
And there you have it.
How people answer that question says a lot about them, doesn't it? Let's not go there.
Alright then, maybe let's start with the good news this time. The rain has finally stopped. There was a record level of rainfall apparently.
Well, that is good news indeed. We can journey back in greater comfort. Alright then, what's the bad news?
A huge storm has left the seas very choppy. The channel in particular is awful, so sailings out of Dover have been delayed by a day or more.
Wait. Susato's coming back?
That's right, if we head to the station immediately, we may still make it in time to wave Susie off.
But there won't be a train, surely. We couldn't be that lucky. Who do you think I am, Mr. Neruhodo? Mr. Sholmes? I rushed to Victoria Station earlier and made arrangements for a very special express. If we hurry now, we shall be there in for time for dinner. And I know of a fine restaurant that serves the most delicious baked sole. Sole? I don't. The great detective does it again. Indeed he does. I happen to be aware of a number of the rail transport director's foibles. How many foibles do you know? I merely made my knowledge of them known to the man, and he happily laid on the locomotive. Elementary, my dear. Just an idea, but it might be wise to stop manipulating people that way.
What are we waiting for then? To London, Victoria!
What kind of ride? Wait, was it a train ride? I thought it was a carriage, but it might be off. That took somewhat longer than I anticipated.
Susie's boat must be about to leave now.
Mr. Sato, where are you?
Hey!
We're there, look. Looks like she's reading something. What? Why are you throwing it? What are you doing? Mr. Naruhodo? What are you doing here? We came as soon as we could after the trial. I mean, we heard that sailings were being delayed due to the bad weather. Oh, I see. Then tell me, how did Gina's trial go? It went well. She was acquitted. Sort of. That's wonderful. Really wonderful news. The book you're about to throw into the sea. It was your Encyclopedia of British Law, wasn't it? A lot bigger than I remember. Oh dear, I was hoping you hadn't seen that.
Also, don't throw books in the ocean, that's litter!
I'm not worthy of practicing law in any way now. So, I was saying my final farewell. You're saying goodbye to law? You? Would I be correct in assuming it's because of the peephole, Miss Susato? I deliberately altered the scene of a crime, and then I tried to hide the fact. What I did is utterly unforgivable.
It really helped a lot, though.
That reminds me.
How did you even come to have this, Susie?
On the evening of the incident, Mr. Sholmes had invited Gina to dinner, if you remember. Oh right, was it the, pickpocketing contest?
Oh yes, we had a wonderful time.
Well, Gina gave us a little introductory lesson, didn't she? To the art of pickpocketing, I mean.
Oh, that was so much fun. I stole Runo's armband.
Yes, please don't do that again. That band's very important to me.
Well, if it's so important, you should pay more attention to it. You didn't notice for ages.
On a whim, I thought it would be fun to see if I could take the cat flap-a-mat, so I put it up my sleeve.
Really?
And then I rather forgot about it, until I found myself in Mr. Windibank's shop with it later that night. I see. And then... Ah! Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Sholmes!
Leave me, Mr. Naruto.
Right. After Mr. Naruhodo had left the shop, I started to think. That door started to play on my mind. The storm door. Yes, if Gina was anywhere in the shop, I realized it could only be behind that door. And at that moment, the little device I had up my sleeve sprang to mind. You could say I had a trick up my sleeve? I was so worried about Gina, I simply had to know. So you used the cat flap-o-mat to make the peephole. As captured in the photographic print of the shop by one of Ellie's red-handed recorders.
Indeed, it was of the first importance, that point. Precisely when the peephole was made, that information would prove to be Mr. Naruhodo's greatest weapon. Though naturally, without proof, it would have amounted to nothing.
But when I looked through the hole in the door, the sight that met my eyes made my blood run cold. Thoughts started to run through my mind. I remembered that trial 2 months earlier. A trial of Magnus McGilded. I thought about how he had manipulated the evidence and arranged false testimony to secure his freedom. It made the British justice system feel very dark and sinister to me. And then, a terrible thought occurred to me. What if some wicked criminal was planning to do the same thing now? Because from the appearance of the crime scene, it looked exactly as though Gina had shot Mr. Winterbank. Even though I was sure she would never have done such a thing, you were worried that the true culprit would try to frame her for the crime. That's right, but then I realized it would be very difficult for anyone to give false testimony in this case.
The peephole?
Well, the crime appeared to have happened behind the door of a locked room. For someone to claim falsely to have witnessed it, there would have to be a way to see beyond the door.
Oh. Okay, so it is the peephole. For which a peephole would be the very thing.
Only the peephole I had made wasn't actually there until after the crime had been committed, of course. And the criminal would know that, so it wouldn't make any difference.
But the possibility of a rather ingenious trap was there, was it not? Trap? Is that why she did it?
So, is that why you kept it a secret, Susie? You never mentioned that you made the peephole to anyone. Not even to the police. I know, and I knew at the time what I was doing was wrong. A criminal offense, even. That's why I decided to confide in Mr. Sholmes. If Mr. Naruhodo was completely backed into a corner with no other possible means of escape, the truth about the peephole could save him. That was my plan.
She really does think of everything. She's so galaxy-brained. But then, why didn't you just tell me everything before the trial began? My dear fellow, you're not thinking straight. If she had done that, it would have rendered you complicit in the whole escapade. Oh yeah. You could have been disbarred if you had been seen to have knowingly tampered with a crime scene. So Mr. Sato decided to shoulder the burden of responsibility alone. For your sake, and Miss Strahd's.
Mr. Sato. The truth is, when it happened, I did it because I'd lost a little of my faith in the law.
Honestly, after the whole McGilded mishap, I feel I'd have less faith in the laws, too.
I was worried that the right person wouldn't be convicted of the crime. But the moment I allowed myself to think that is the moment I lost my right to call myself a judicial assistant.
What you did isn't comparable to what he did. Graydon's the one who lied in the witness stand, using that peephole as a way to implicate Gina. And besides, if the peephole inconsistency hadn't existed, I'm not all sure that she would have been acquitted in the end. Mr. Sato, what you did saved Gina's life.
Well, with your kind words, Mr. Naruhodo, you've saved me too from my regrets.
Oh. Well, we must all be thankful that Miss Lestrade's freedom has been assured, even though she's in prison. Yes, exactly. Although some of the loose ends in that trial will continue to play on my mind, I'm sure.
But the revelation that the music box contains secret messages, Mr. Naruhodo. What a triumph to work that out. I'm full of admiration. Well, actually, the argument wasn't quite as compelling as I thought it was. It wasn't? There was a communications officer among the jury members, you see. Oh yeah, she said it was just jumbled crap. A telegraph operator. And she said that the majority of the sounds on the disc were just meaningless tones. As one would expect. After all, we are talking about secret government communications. No doubt they were written in cipher to avoid being readily understood should they have been intercepted. Cipher. So would the meanings have been reversed? I see. So then we could never hope to understand the message anyway. Nonsense, my dear fellow. It's quite a zero-pipe problem, I assure you. Wait. Well, that can't be a real word, can it? How funny. Wait. Iris, what did you just say? Oh, I just said asogi. Does that word mean something to you? Mean something? Asogi was the name of my best friend. What? But how? How do you know that name, Iris? I wrote it down during the trial before, when the message was playing on the music box. She transcribed it on the fly? You can interpret Morse code by ear? She really is a genius. I thought the message probably wouldn't be written out in plain Morse code, so I tried various ways to interpret it. Whatever I tried, the words just didn't seem to make any sense. That is, in English at least. Are you multilingual in everything? It suddenly occurred to me, you see. There's more than one Morse code, not just the English variety. Various countries around the world have altered and added to the Morse code. I did not know that. They use that in their own languages. I don't believe it. Are you saying? That's right. I've only actually seen a chart of Japanese Morse code once before. But I think it's based on the Iroha pangram, isn't it? And you mean to say that in Japanese Morse code the message says asogi? Yes, I think so. Sorry, but I don't remember all of the Japanese Morse code. Iris, would you let me see that? Susanoo, do you know it? Do you know Japanese Morse code? Yes, I spent some time studying it. Because I'm quite sure Morse code will become ever more important for international communications. That sounds familiar. Then might I recommend, my dear madam, that you focus your efforts on the English version? Be that as it may, Iris, show me the message, please. Of course. What could this possibly mean? Susanoo, what is it? Tell me! It's made a color drain from her face. Does it have to do with... Wait, does it have to do with that whole Kazuma saying that he has a purpose to do here? There's no doubt that this message is written in Japanese Morse code. So the British Empire has been using Japanese for its secret communications? I don't understand the reasons why, but the message appears to be a list of 4 people's names. 4? First, Kei Asogi. Kazuma Asogi. Why his name? Second is A. Shin. Shin? Third is T. Gregus. Tobias Gregson? Gregson? I was seeing Tobias Gregson as the 3rd man on the list. And what's his name doing in the secret government communication as well? What about the last name? Susanoo? It's just so strange. So unexpected. Whose name is it? What is it, Susie? Don't keep us in a surprise. Don't keep us in suspense. The last name is J. What? Wilson? John H. Wilson? You mean Daddy? It says only J. Wilson, so I'm afraid I can't be sure. Then, after the 4 names, it reads, if I translate from Japanese, that is all 4. Wilson's dead. Kazuma's dead. Gregson's still alive. Ashin? Is it a pun? Like A.Shin or just Asian? And that's the end of the message. Or rather, the end of what you noted down, Iris. Do you know something, Sholmes? I just can't believe it. Who would have ever thought that those discs contain Japanese Morse code? Not to mention a strange list of some disturbingly familiar names. It would appear that this particular message is a communication of some kind between Great Britain and the Empire of Japan. So, Daddy could be in Japan then, where Susie and Runo came from. I've got some bad news for you, honey. Well... no, it's not very likely, really, is it? I mean, there are thousands of people with the surname Wilson, and there must be lots of J's among them. Professor John H. Wilson, visiting professor of medicine at the Imperial Yume University. We can't tell Iris about that now. We just can't. He's dead! This is so strange. Somehow in solving the case of Mr. Windibank's murder today, I feel like I rolled back a boulder at the mouth of a very dark cave. Government conspiracy? I do wonder if perhaps it's a dark cave that we shouldn't go wandering inside. Oh dear, the ship's going to set sail soon. Yes, it seems so. It's 3 in the morning, please! I'll sail on that steamship first to the port of Dunkirk in France. Then I'll change onto a larger passenger vessel bound for Japan. You're really going then, Susie? We wish you a safe passage, Miss Susato. Thank you so much. I wish all of you the very best. Miss Susato. I had hoped to have you always by my side to guide me and support me. Mr. Naruhodo. Please, come back soon. As far as I'm concerned, you really are the very best judicial assistant in the world. I'm quite sure. I'll be back before you know it. Really, Susie? Oh, now, don't forget, Iris. I made you a promise I've yet to fulfill. A promise? About your manuscript. Oh yeah, the Hound of Baskerville. Well, I'll be waiting for you then, Susie. A promise is a promise. Definitely, Iris. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes? Do you remember the first time we met? Yes, of course. On the SS Bordia when I was dragged out from that wardrobe. I thought it was going to be during the first trial where she busted in with help. Still half asleep. If I remember rightly, you threw me halfway across the cabin. You know very well that I'm talking about after that. It's strange, but being thrown together as we were in that case, I somehow felt straight away that you were the perfect person to continue Kazuma-sama's great legacy. Miss Susato. And my instincts were right. I really want to believe. No, I'm sure that. I'll be back soon. Farewell until then. Oh.
Somehow we seem to have come to the end of the adventures of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Or the first volume, at least.
Kitty!
Looking back now, it feels as though fate has led me on this journey.
Seriously, I hope that ship is I guess, scientifically sound.
Fate led me to becoming a lawyer, to traveling halfway around the world, to meeting the great detective. I'm sure there'll be trials and tribulations ahead. Of course there will. But whatever happens, I know I'll be able to turn my fortunes around.
When did you bring... How did you... I didn't even see you carrying a violin case.
After all, I have the greatest friends in the world on my side.
Eh? Oh yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, Mr. Sholmes. I have some rather awkward news. The railway company has decided to sue over the special express train, apparently. Am I gonna have to defend you in that? Huh? It caused such a commotion on the line. All the other trains have to wait at the stations. But really, we would never have made it to Dover in time otherwise. Anyway, I explained everything, and now it was all your fault. Thanks a lot. Wait. Is this the whole Yell objection? I guess it's in genetics. I believe a formal complaint should be delivered to your office tomorrow. But not to worry, my dear fellow. According to Miss Susato, you love defending yourself in court. What? It's alright. I'm perfectly happy to testify. You really didn't look like the sort of man who would do something so outrageous. See? Nanny, the fuck? Mr. Sholmes? Yes? A word if you don't mind. Why, certainly. Any word you like. Bellow it out, my dear fellow. Oh yes, I love Runo's words. I know just the one he'll use here. Then, I really must say...
Objection!
Oh, he has a ring. Shoot Takumi, thank you. Okay, first 5 cases are done. Next up are the 5 cases of the second game. Oh, following weeks, 100 music boxes arrived at Baker Street from all over Europe. Something was afoot, though it transpired I had ordered them all myself. I don't know if I'd be able to read all this. Time to join the music box business. Oh no. He needs cooking classes. Whoa. Oh no. Them again? Wait, is this a flashback? Massive props to the cast here. Hey! Aww. Wait. Wagahai had babies? Aww. Hello. I'm pretty sure you're gonna be a villain. Where
guards! You better get going then. You're not demoted or fired? You got some of her tea? Still though, have you faced any consequences after that little stunt you pulled? Hey! Are you still slapped? Dicky Peg? Oh no! Oh. Okay, so you're taking care of yourself then. Or are you dressing up as well? Not saying you couldn't pull it off, but I don't know, you weren't really... That statement was kind of vague. Oh boy. Small change in the gutter? Are you at least getting enough sleep these days? Hey! How long is a bit? Do you want to become a lawyer, or a detective, or a prosecutor? Hey. Wait, wait. You're their third brother. You mouse must get what's it. Hello? Oh. Oh. My guy. So cute. Oh. What's this? Oh. It's the bailiffs. Ouchie. You. Fly off. Fly out of my sight, please. Are they gonna do Cosmo like fading from existence? Or is he just gonna keep walking? Oh, your snake friend is in here. Also, I didn't notice that Cosmo has boots. Oh! Cosmo! Sorry for me running quiet. My throat's a little sore. Where are you going? Oh, there we go. There she is! Screw you, McGilded. What? I wanted Naruto to pause, punch him in the face, and then keep walking. Oh yeah, the strong maid wife. Kitty! Also, he had sandals on the whole time? Oh, I didn't even know Sholmes joined us on our walk. Is Iris joining? Yay! Also, it's as annoying as Van Zeke's racism is, I absolutely love whenever he kicks his leg up. I just noticed Sholmes and Ryunosuke, they're walking in unison. Don't shoot! Hello. Fiend. Now for part 2. but I'll have to wait for another time because it's 3 a.m. and also my throat hurts.